Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this Saturday, July 15th, 2023, to the 903rd episode of Dave's Gone By. Conmigo, Dave Lefkowitz, and my darling and adorable wife, Joyce Ego, here.
Who?
Well, it's Conmigo, you are Joyce Ego.
Contigo or Conmigo?
Well, I am Conmigo is with me. Contigo is with you, right? Something like that?
Conmigo. I don't know. I think it's like
Amigo.
Ah.
Yeah. As we go, amigo together. Yes, drool.
You're
so
excited today.
So excited about doing this episode. I'm excited every
it's
episode.
Good to eat the crunchies.
Yeah, well, we had cereal for breakfast, so we're all raring to go. Although the cereal, it doesn't have bran, it has flax in it. Is it going to make me poop in the middle of that?
No, it doesn't have flax. It doesn't have flax at all.
Or bran, or what does it have in there?
They're called heritage flakes.
Yeah.
There's no bran.
Well, does it have anything in there that works?
What's in heritage flakes cereal?
According to Target, ingredients: kamut corson wheat flour,
Kamut!
whole wheat meal, cane sugar, whole oat flour, spelt flour,
Spelt!
barley flour,
Barley, millet.
barley malt extract, quinoa,
Quinoa.
sea salt, honey.
Well, they're good. They're actually very tasty.
Yeah, there's no laxative. There's nothing in there that's
Well, then how come you have it? Why is it healthy?
because it's processed, but it's with low additives. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I thought they threw all this bran in there to get your colon going.
Wow.
What the?
I think for their brand, it's their number one selling cereal.
Oh. Well, wait, that's not Trader. Who is that? That's
That's a brand called Nature's Path.
Oh, sorry. Got it.
Yeah, but Trader Joe's, they had a delicious oatmeal one, but they canceled it. They don't make it no more.
Yeah, where every once in a while it shows up for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and you buy like 3 boxes,
Well,
and then it's gone.
I read like a thing about Costco and Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens is it's not based on customer need. It's that supplier will no longer make it for that off-brand or brand. It makes it only for somebody else. So it's a supply chain issue.
Yeah. Remember when Trader Joe's used to make chocolate-covered peanuts? Oh, like Goobers. I used to love. There was peanuts, not raisins. They still make the raisins.
But now everyone's allergic. But they have peanut butter.
Everybody's allergic. No, but if you're allergic, you don't have to buy it. But they stopped. They had it for about a year. I'm bitching. I am. They used to make chocolate-covered peanuts and peanut clusters. It's like this color. At Trader Joe's. I would buy them.
My mother loved the clusters. Yeah, they had like a new caramel.
I don't know. I didn't like the ones that were stuck together, but sometimes they would just be, they weren't neat. Like you open a package of Goobers in the movie theater, and there's round little nuggets like rabbit shit, or I wish we discovered deer shit.
You make it sound so appealing.
Well, I should, because I don't want people getting hungry for these, and then going to Trader Joe's and realizing they don't make them anymore.
You know what you sound like?
What do I sound like? Back there, in case you're wondering, we're going to leave him there. You have to zoom in.
Handsome fellow?
That, of course, is Melvin G. Mintz over the zero there. Melvin, we discovered him about 2 weeks ago.
I get him in the paper, right?
Yes!
I'm gonna look
Well, we showed him last week, but we'll share him again.
Melvin or just Mel?
Mel Mintz.
Does he have another?
He's not Larry Bud Mel Mintz. He's just Melvin G. Mintz.
Does he have like a middle initial?
G.
Oh, here we go.
Here you go. We just saw him in a magazine as we were paging through locally. And there was this picture of him.
So people can see it up close, right?
And he's a perfectly normal,
he's a lovely man,
older Jewish-looking gentleman. And yet there's just something about this picture.
He's a political figure of some sort.
He is a council member and all that. Successful businessman, politician, council member, Melvin G. Mintz. And yet I see this, and I ripped it out of the magazine, which was horrible because somebody was reading the magazine at the time. and I said,
what's in that article?
We need to share the beauty, the wonder, and the magic that is Melvin G. Mintz.
He looks so self-assured, He looks so self-assured and happy.
And then I see this picture, and I'm like, how can I torture my wife? And I'm like, let me do the voice of what I think Melvin G. Mintz is, which is this incredibly friendly, loud, oversharing, half-deaf, Jewish older man. How are you? I'm Melvin G. Mintz. What can I do for you today in your district? And I would do this at like 2 o'clock in the morning when Joyce is trying to sleep.
You know who I was looking for to put today? The Wiggly Man.
He's in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
I know,
Or I think I may have put him up. This is one of those places.
Yeah.
But you don't need a Wiggly Man when you got, there are. Hold on, I put in the code. Here we go, Melvin G. Mintz.
I have to protect my phone because I don't want people getting access to the mints, you know?
I know.
You should make him your screensaver on your computer.
I nicknamed him Breath Mints just because, but no.
Fresh mints, you always have little.
No, he's either going to be my screensaver or.
Not the ginger.
And we'll get to the museum in a little bit.
I don't have the ginger.
Oh, no, not even that. No, yesterday, Joyce and I are heading over to see a museum in Baltimore.
Why does his LinkedIn profile say Mel Mintz retired nun?
Excuse me?
No, like retired NONA. Like what?
Oh, it's not. It may not have a birthday. It may not have a
but
location.
I've never seen that in a usually your LinkedIn profile. It would say like your name or something.
I'll tell you what. He is not a retired nun.
It says LinkedIn nun. Here we go. Mel Mintz has well-rounded knowledge of how to provide the reverse mortgages. Oh no, that's not him. Of his clients, no.
No, different guy. Sorry.
That's an imposter, Mintz.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We need to go after him. Stab him and spear Mintz.
Oh, Mintz wooing the style of old-style politics.
And pepper him with questions, so he would be peppermints. Anyway, also Joyce and I, yesterday we actually went somewhere. We had an excursion, and we went to Baltimore City, nice part of Baltimore City, to check out their art museum. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And it's a fine museum, tons of Matisses. Wish I liked Matisse more, but okay. But going there, I had no idea about this. Why nobody told me about this is beyond me. But on the way, we're taking an Uber. We're splurging on Uber because I don't want to drive. And we're passing, we're going through, and we're going down, the road. And the guy takes I-83, I think it is, or 683. Boom, boom, boom. Getting into just towards Baltimore Central. And I'm looking around, and suddenly there's a billboard. And you don't really get a lot of billboard. You got it's becoming very, very urban. And you're seeing stores and buildings and office buildings and stuff and shops. But to my right, I catch it, and I see this really enormous billboard out of nowhere, right along the highway. And I think I did a double take. Literally did a double take. Because I'm looking, I'm like, oh! And I'm glad the driver didn't crash the car. Because I was just like, hun! My wife being hun. Looking, hun! Pointing, yelling, looking out the window at this billboard. And it is not, sometimes we have local billboards for some pastor or preacher who's got a gazillion dollars and is coming to talk at the local convention center and do, shepherd his Christian flock and so on. And it's not for some Hollywood movie. And it's not for some item that you get at the grocery store or the drugstore. Or one time we went, where was it? I think we were in Virginia visiting. And everywhere it was just the same law firm. Like this father-son 60-year-old law firm had posters and signage everywhere and had this beautiful building downtown. So, all right, none of that. We're riding along, and I see a billboard. Long, like CinemaScope, Panavision, blue with a wave. 2 words. Gonorrhea alert. Who knew? Somebody was alerting the world to hopefully the fact that they don't have gonorrhea. But out of nowhere, in this time of getting through COVID still, the pandemic crisis still, in times of stroke and heart attack and high blood pressure, in times of Alzheimer's, no, gonorrhea alert. And I'm thinking, what the? And you see a bit of wording on the signage of who the hell it's from, and they give you a website. And we look it up, of course, it's the first thing we look up when we get home, because it's like, we're astonished and we don't have time to take a photo in the moving car to sort of have to remember. We saw a billboard with gonorrhea on it.
Did you get I sent you the link. You want it?
I can't show
I'll get
it.
it on the phone.
I'll get it on the phone, yeah.
No, I know I sent it to you, right? So I'll put up some email.
And I look at Joyce and and the driver's like shaking his head, and we're just like, gonorrhea alert.
So this is, I'm going to give you all the advertisements, including the one you like about, just don't click on the side where the buttons are.
Oh, all right.
If you go down, it's David. Look at me.
Yeah, right.
Go all the way down. That's the
one. But first let me show, Joyce, of course, found the billboard that we saw. This is on the highway. We literally see this. Thank you for sharing. I just do the show on like screen share, but gonorrhea alert. And then they give you a website. And it's paid for, it's put together by this not-for-profit out of California.
You said the stats are from 2019.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
I'll find the other one for you.
Yeah, there's they're an AIDS coalition out of the West Coast.
I don't know, are they just HIV? Or?
Well, they call themselves, literally their thing is AIDS health or AIDS fix or AIDS something. And of course, they deal with all sorts of STDs and things like that. So they wanted to alert, particularly Baltimore, not any other state, not any other place in the Union.
I do like their gentrification sucks one.
Not Amsterdam. No. It's like, let's put this in the middle of downtown Baltimore. Gonorrhea, hold it, because I'll get to it, because there's more. Yeah, thank you. And first of all, I think, why Baltimore? And when we look on the website, we look on,
oh, good Lord.
When we look and try to see why
we want to see what the origin, because anybody could put up not anybody, they're costly, but anyone could put up a billboard if you could pay for it. But we were curious as to who was the funder.
And why.
Yeah.
So we're looking and say, the incidences of gonorrhea, I guess in our locale, had gone up from about 9,000 cases to over 11,000 cases from year to year. And first of all, that's compared to how many people had COVID, compared to how many people die of cancer.
Yeah, but that's not their area. Like, they're STIs, so they're looking at sexually transmitted infections. So they care about COVID, but their focus is on things you get from...
compared to the herp, I'll bet. It's,
Yeah, but there are differences. Like gonorrhea, what they're trying to hit hard against is drug resistant. So when there was drug resistant TB in New York and I worked in TB control, that was a nightmare because the medication can't cure the disease.
It gets worse. The disease just gets stronger.
And the disease gets more virulent. So more resistant to antibiotics. So that's what I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not that.
And apparently it's gonorrhea really rampant in coffee shops. Well, drip coffee. But but I'm looking at the numbers on this and it's like, wait a minute. Gonorrhea is leaping up, sort of, percentage-wise, not in terms of real numbers.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. But the first number from 2018 to 2019.
Yeah.
And that's the last year that they have the actual data on this. When they did the study, which is not a study I would want to perform, even with IRB approval. I go to... It's not a verbal. Can we? Oh, yeah. Okay, yes.
No, I mean, you don't want to show people. You know how you get it? I'll tell you.
Well, I know how you get it.
The way that you get gonorrhea statistics is for every Department of Health, gonorrhea is a reportable disease. Mm-hmm. So when there's a diagnosis made in any kind of health setting, they have to report it to the state.
Oh.
That's how they get the numbers, yeah.
All right. So, but still, 2019, I get it, fine. Scary, goes up a year. Did anybody even think with this billboard up there that they put up not 3 years ago, but they put up recently, that in 2020, a lot of strangers stopped fucking for a year. No people were having sex for people who knew each other.
David, there was another pandemic to address.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is, I bet you that from 2019 through 2021, gonorrhea numbers went boom, because you're going to get gonorrhea from hookers, from people you don't know.
No, that's not true. Hookers? What are we, 1950s? Mel Mints? Anybody could have
You could get it
it.
from a spouse, but the spouse would have had to be banging someone who had it.
Which probably could happen. Maybe in an apartment building, there's a lot of downtime.
All right, maybe. I am dollars to donuts. So I'll buy you dinner at some point. We ever go out for dinner, but no, I'll buy you dinner if between 19 and 21 the numbers went up.
Okay.
Maybe 21 and 22 they went up. 22. I love how
You know I could lie with data, right?
no, but you know how like the New York Post likes to make New York look like it's turned into an unbelievable hell of crime and homelessness
Yeah.
because the numbers have just jumped.
Mhm.
And New York has done that. I mean, there's no question. It's crime and crazy people are a problem. But is it really a shock that more people are being mugged and shot in 2022 than they were in 2020 when nobody went outside?
It's called lying with data. People do it all
Yeah.
the time. I mean, you could, and you don't know, like, my thing is, and which I love, one of my students at conference, she was so funny. A big organization in aging put out this whole database, and she was hysterical, and she said, where are the data from? And they couldn't answer it.
Whoa.
So you don't know where people, I mean, they're not, like, reporters are not statisticians.
Yeah.
And they're getting data from somewhere, and it might be bad.
So, anyway, we look up the.
Yeah, we want to understand. We're curious people.
Now, I don't know where they get all. Well, they're out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So they must have some people bankrolling
There
this
must be
not-for-profit.
somebody. Yeah.
Which is fine, because what they're telling people is, please be careful. If you're having sex, wear condoms, be safe,
Yeah.
get yourself checked for not just, certainly AIDS, certainly HIV. And so they have sometimes very eye-catching, cute billboards that they put all over the country. Things for, condoms and, well, let me show one with an actual, not a condom on a penis, but
No, they have a big.
this one's clever.
I think they said their goal was to have advertising of like no more than 4 to 6 words, right, to make a message simple.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Because you're driving along 60 miles an
Yeah.
hour. You're not
We
gonna.
remember, what is it, gonorrhea?
Well, here's so, but
What do you want?
your phone suddenly froze on it. Oh, here it goes. Got it. So we're scrolling through all the different billboards that they've done over the years. Like here's I don't want to make them too big, but here's HIV, no problem. Clever stuff that's going to catch the eye. And remember,
Or catch something.
we're banking on seeing a billboard called Gonorrhea Alert.
Alert.
At some
alert.
point,
Maybe
alert,
they
alert.
took your alert from your leptin alert.
I should, yeah. And then we see this on the website. They must have done this, I guess, on the West Coast. This is real. Ladies and gentlemen, the syphilis tsunami, which is easier to read than to say, the syphilis. How many people are getting
You know
syphilis?
who likes that? Mo from the Simpsons.
Mo
likes it.
Sislak, that's right. He used to eat penicillos for breakfast.
Yes. I think the funniest thing, they have one that's mimicking, Bernie Sanders ad, and it says "Feel the burn," but it's for STD burn. That's horrible.
But clever. But horrible, but clever.
Yeah.
So we did all these things yesterday. The most memorable thing is seeing a giant billboard
Oh, no, I don't
with
think
gonorrhea
so.
alert on it.
Here,
No, we saw some wonderful art, but really, are we going to remember the art?
Here, take some. Remember I have the tree one you don't want to show yet.
Yeah, we'll show
I
that
have the
later
rainbow.
with
You tell
Greeley
me what you
Crimes.
want. I'll give you a picture.
Well, let's see. So we have about 10 minutes because our guest is going to be in the Daverhood. Let me explain that we have a guest.
Oh, wow, you saw some wonderful art.
Oh, let's see. Joyce doesn't want to share. So there's so much to talk about. We've only got like 10 minutes before.
We can continue after.
Yeah. But I want to get to this. The Baltimore Museum of Art, right? Not modern, just Baltimore Museum of Art. Big, world-class museum, and they have a sculpture garden.
A lot of Matisse, right?
Tons of Matisse. And, they went to this woman named Cohn, something Cohn, had this enormous Matisse collection that she either sold or willed or whatever to the museum, and they got like 50 Matisses, and they're just all over the place.
They had
They had like 2 or 3 Picassos, no Kahlos. I'm sorry.
They had Miro.
They have one or 2 Miros. They had a Mondrian. They had Warhol. They world-class museum kind of a thing. I didn't see a Dali, unfortunately. But they had what they had. And then in their sculpture garden, yes, other people would be embarrassed or ashamed by this, But there's certain
There's
sculptures
2 pictures you could see.
in the garden. One of I should have figured out what this actual sculpture was.
It was a horse
Right.
with a rider reclining on the horse and resting, and the horse had his tushy up.
I don't think it was right. I think there was something really messed up, like a guy like stretched out and spading along the back of the horse, and it didn't look like it was a calm, like resting, happy horse. So it looked like this emaciated, dying horse,
God.
and a rider.
That's
like,
why art is so
hands tied.
subjective. I
Yeah.
felt that they're very different.
Maybe. And for some insane reason, rather than giving the horse a tail,
no.
or maybe the horse had a tail and somebody,
No,
Okay.
it's a star. It's a sculpture.
or maybe it was a fountain at some point, but instead of a tail, the artist gave the horse a very pronounced and indented asshole. I don't know why.
It looked kind of like a burpee or something, right?
What was burpee?
Like I don't know, it had like a unique.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm like, hun, get the camera.
There's another picture too.
This is me sticking my finger in the asshole of a sculpted
Now
horse.
try to swipe.
Let me see if I'm very.
And just
I tried to wipe.
It was over 90 degrees, and that was right after we had eaten our yummy. You had what, crab, shrimp?
Yeah,
chowder?
we had some really nice
Delicious
lunch there,
food, yeah.
but it isn't so much about me doing a stupid, silly photograph of sticking my finger in a sculpture's asshole. It's why design a
Did you show
sculpture
both?
with, yes, I did,
Oh.
with a prominent rectum. If you're trying to make a statement about horses or man and beast or war or resting or the beauty of communication of the
You show us.
human
This
and
is
animal
us at the
world.
museum.
It's good, yeah. This is sweet. This is going to be like one of the photos Joyce and I remember forever. There's a whole room is just this sculpture. It's a circle with a white bar of light, and that's the two of us sitting. Basically, the most important thing about this was we got to sit on a bench for a bit.
And behind us is a classical sculpture in color. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know, but it was like, we've been walking around, and walking was 90-something degree heat. And then, oh, look, a quiet, cool room where they were all air conditioned, but let's sit on the bench for a bit. Oh, this is nice. And then we took a picture, and it reminds me, actually, literally, reminds me of the Gordon Willis shot and scene from Annie Hall of Woody Allen and Diane Keaton just sitting on that bench by the water in Manhattan. Anyway, give me a little time here because I need to announce and say who's going to be on the show because they're in the waiting room already.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll
get up. Let me get up.
So, we have about 5 minutes, but I want to let you know we're calling this episode Great Scott.
Ooh.
Great Scott. Why? Because we have a guest in the Daverhood, an actress who has been on TV for quite a few years. Let me actually get my notes. Best known for her very long run of all these different roles in the TV series Dark Shadows,
Ooh.
which was this gothic-y drama, creepy soap opera that ran, I guess the 60s or 70s. And then she also, check this out, because Rabbi Saul Solomon is going to be interviewing Kathryn Leigh Scott, because she was also in all these movies. Movies with people like George C. Scott, with people like Jimmy Stewart. She was on stage with Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, wow.
Jimmy Stewart.
That is cool.
Man.
How many people can say that, right?
How many people can say they were in a John Wayne movie? This one was in a
John Wayne could say that.
Yeah, John Wayne could say that if he was still with. But she's had a life. She's had a career, and she's still writing. She's putting out books now, and she will go. You can actually see her in person, meet her, and I guess have her autograph stuff at the Mad Monster Expo
Oh, that's funny.
2023 in Concord, North Carolina.
Better than the
That's
Happy
late August.
Monster, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be prepping for school, and otherwise I'd be down there. But it's August 25th through the 27th.
You're scared of monsters.
Yeah. But Kathryn Leigh Scott is going to be with us in just a couple of minutes, chatting with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. So, yeah, pretty exciting show. After the rabbi's chat with Kathryn, There's sorry, Ms. Leigh Scott. He might call her Kathryn or Miriam, or if he's a Jewish name.
What's her Hebrew name for
I
Kathryn?
don't know.
What would Kathryn
Not too
be?
sure. I don't know. Cats. I don't know. There will be a trivia game, as we always do, often do. The Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz, where Kathryn Leigh Scott will stay on to play our trivia game opposite some beloved people. Vicki Quade, the co-creator of Late Night Catechism, and she also does a couple of other shows out there, and long-running shows out there in Chicago, and our wonderful musical friend out in Canada, Moshe Denburg.
Oh, wow.
So we've got a great panel.
That's a tough team, yeah.
They're going to be good. This is going to be a great quiz, the Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Plus, we will have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and we will have Greeley Crimes and Old Times based on items in the Greeley Tribune newspaper. And what else? I think that'll do it. I mean, then we'll talk a little bit more about our week, because there's lots of wonderful things to talk about. And folks, gonorrhea alert. Anyway, want to remind you that Dave's Gone By has been airing live or thereabouts from October of 2002. And we're on from 9 in the morning until noon-ish Eastern time, thereabouts, in the Daverhood, mixing humor and talk and culture and strange, zany, how do you even explain it stuff every single week. This is our 903rd episode, and if you want to check out basically every single episode we've ever done, minus one or two that didn't come out for technical reasons, you can find them. davesgoneby.com. Dave's, with a V like my name, davesgoneby.com. You can also find our archives at archive.org. It's a nonprofit website that gathers art and culture and history and music and old radio and old TV from whenever, literature too, from centuries ago, all in one not-for-profit place. And we have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel, at archive.org. You can also get the audio archives at castbox.fm. Remember, those are audio only, so they're for downloading, they're for, if you're into the podcasting thing, you can listen to us where you're going. I know someone wrote to say that they're going to be listening to the show till they're on their way somewhere, they're driving or taking a thing, so they can't watch. And so they're going to listen to the show. They're listening, I hope, right now through their Facebook feed. But anyway, so many ways to connect with and to find the archives and the wonders of this program. Well, one of the wonders is that we get famous and really fun and interesting people with these great lives and careers like Kathryn Leigh Scott, who's going to join us in the Daverhood momentarily to chat with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Shalom! Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon. I am founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. And aren't we excited? We are waiting for the entrance into the Daverhood of a TV star. Well, here she is. Here she is. Looking gorgeous! Oh, my goodness. And even the framing, except she froze. She momentarily froze. Come back, Kathryn Leigh Scott. Come back to us. Don't go away. The spirit of Him is calling you. Hello, move, wiggle a little bit. There you are. Hello. Shalom to you, Kathryn Leigh Scott. How are you?
I'm good. I've got my morning coffee, and I'm pleased to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you have a refreshing beverage to be with us. Oh, did it spill? Oh,
No,
light.
we're fine. I was just savoring the coffee.
This is important. So your voice seems okay. Your video's a little bit on the freezy
What's
side.
happening?
Oh, there we go. Then just try not to. I don't know. Maybe don't wiggle your foot because it's taking too much bandwidth. I don't know. Where? Oh, there. I'm seeing you smiling. I think we're better. I think you might freeze here and there, but as long as we can talk to you and hear you, this is good. So welcome. By the way, welcome to the day.
Good.
Good morning to you. How are you? How are you? You're half frozen. Is how you are.
My family is in good health. I've got a wonderful boyfriend. How can I complain?
All right. How did you meet your? I'm hoping it wasn't Grinder. How did you meet the boy that you're seeing now?
How did I meet my boyfriend?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes. I want to know. To share. How did you meet your current beau?
My boyfriend and I are, well, we're both writers, and a mutual friend who's a writer said, you really ought to meet this guy. He's really great fun. Well, I lost my husband 12 years ago. He lost his wife 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. Anyway, we met just 3 years ago, and it's just been bliss.
Oh, mit Mazel. Now, do you see the big M word?
I'm very lucky.
Okay, it's very lucky.
No, I don't think so. I've been. I'm so lucky to have this wonderful relationship. I'm not sure that we'll get married. We haven't really talked about that. It doesn't feel like it's wholly necessary.
Well, but if you ever need someone to conduct the ceremony, my fees are listed on my website. So it's just that out there, and I get to eat free at the party.
What a nice offer! Thank you.
Now I have not yet mentioned that why people know this woman, why they know Kathryn Leigh Scott. The main reason, although there's lots of reasons to know her, is first of all, she was on the TV program Dark Shadows in several different roles for several different years. Dark Shadows was this gothic soap opera on American television that people watch. But you've also done a bunch of movies. We'll talk about a bit about that. And you've written books, as you've already kind of mentioned. And let's remind everybody, she is going to be live. You can see this beautiful woman in person live. I mean, her boyfriend gets to do it for free. You can pay some money to go see her at the Mad Monster Expo 2023. This is happening in Concord, North Carolina, in late August 25th, 26th, and 27th. For more information, go to madmonster.com. So what are you going to be? Are you going to be signing things? Are you going to be talking with people, performing? You're going to be juggling? What are you going to do at the Mad Monster Expo?
The reason why I do these, and I don't do them very often, but I really enjoy meeting the fans of Dark Shadows. And of course, I sign the books, mostly Dark Shadows Return to Collinwood, which is a book I wrote several years ago about 5 decades of Dark Shadows. But it's also fun to just chat with fans, answer their questions, and find out about them. So many kids, ran home from school to watch the show. And now we have 3, maybe 4 generations of fans who are still watching it because it's streaming. So to find out what their experience was. And I think because of the role that I played, Maggie Evans and Josette Dupre, the main squeeze of Vampire Barnabas Collins, I can't tell you how many people say, you got me through a terrible childhood. The best memory I have was running home from school and sitting on the couch and watching Dark Shadows with my grandma. And it's wonderful that the thing that you did really an impact on his life.
You're freezing a little bit, but we got most of.
Were you a fan?
I wasn't old enough.
Okay.
I'm only 26, so but I'm going to rediscover them on streaming and on YouTube. But let me ask, what is the funniest or most weird question a fan has asked you at one of these MonsterCom things?
Oh gosh. I get asked such crazy things. Well, first of all, when you come into people's living room, uh,
Uh-oh.
every day, they get to know you as sort of a friend and expect me to talk about Pop, the guy who was played my father on the show, or my boyfriend Joe, or they kind of conflate Kathryn Leigh Scott, the actress, with those roles. So that's kind of funny because you have to gently, because it's meaningful to them, you have to kind of gently lead them back to reality.
I mean, did you ever really come across like crazy people who live in that way, think you're a vampirist, or they want to bite your neck or something, or be like Jonathan Frid?
No,
No.
no, I like to think that the Dark Shadows fans are a cut above other other fans.
They're kind of
They
fans
seem
of
to
this
be very
program, I'll
well
tell you
read.
that. Yeah.
They really they're really great fun to talk to, and a lot of them have gone into wonderful fields. They're very successful, and it's fun to talk to them and to see what the little kid was that watched you on television and what they grew up to be. So no, I've an actor
Uh-oh.
fan that was difficult to deal with.
Let me ask, by the way, speaking of difficult to do, is your boyfriend making breakfast over there? What the hell's going on in your place? I'm hearing like china smashing and then forks and knives.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? It's Saturday morning. It could be a second cup of coffee. It could be the dishwasher. Wait until the Airedale comes through and starts barking.
Well, if you make me a bagel, toasted, extra butter, I will get you with a schmear. We'll do little lox. Would you mind?
A toasted bagel, a bit of smear. Okay, coming up.
Dip it lightly in borscht, if you could. That would be a very beautiful thing.
All right, coming right up.
So, but more seriously, tell us about the first acting role that you got, whether it was in live theater or whether it was film, that you remember that you did all the way back.
Well, my very first acting role, I think, was when I was in second grade, and I wrote a play about George Washington, gave all the good lines to Martha Washington. That was my role, and then we performed it for the whole second grade class, and it was a wonderful experience. I think I've been an actor since then. But my first professional job on camera, in an acting role, was Dark Shadows, and there were so many young actors that got their start in the show. In addition to me, there was Laura Parker, and I had lunch with her. I spent 6 hours with her the other day. We're such close friends. And Kate Jackson, David Selby, Jimmy Storm, Chris Pennock. There are so many of us that really got our start on the show.
Now,
and how lucky we were. Oh, to come out of acting class and your very first job, you're playing roles that take you into the 18th century, and to do costume drama and do what is essentially live television. It was a remarkable experience. We were just hugely lucky.
And of course, that leads to the obvious next question. Since it was live television for a while, gotta tell like disaster moments of like this fell, so and so forgot the lie. Tell.
And the knob came off in my hand.
Wait.
There was another time when I was what? The doorknob came off in my hand. I stood there with the doorknob in my hand. There was another instance when I had a scene with my father, and a piece of flashing from one of the lights up above dropped right between us. I mean, it could have caused injury. And we just went on the scene. It was live. We couldn't stop. We couldn't go back. What we did is what you saw.
Now, was that overall more fun than later on doing scripted television waiting 2 hours for a take. Doing movies, certainly, like where you're in the trailer for 3 hours and then you come out and you do something 8 times. Tell me.
Well, what are you talking about when we switched from doing a television series and when we did House of Dark Shadows, the movie?
Or even just you as an actress when you started to do
Because
other
that was
things. Like because that was live TV, but you've done others since then.
you, you will find actors of my vintage they really know their lines. And I've now entered my 8th decade. I have to say, I know how to do a first take that's usable. When you're doing film, of course, you do multiple takes and close-ups and all the rest of it. But people of my vintage, they're not going to forget their lines. They are going to be prepared. And that comes out of all of the summer stock, where you learn lines one day and you're on stage the next, and doing live television. It's a great training ground.
Now,
Because you can sit on a set for hours while they're doing all of the lighting, but then and they get the camera adjusted and all the rest of it, and you come on, you're expected to just deliver like that, and if you fluff a line and they have to stop, everybody looks at you and it's let's every time, not the sound of an airplane flies overhead, and that's all understood. But an actor fluffing a line and ruining a take, or not acing it, really doing it emotionally, that's a mark against you.
Oh, absolutely. Although nowadays, I think with film itself being cheaper, or just digital cheaper, and people using handheld cameras and stuff, they're probably a little easier on that. They're probably, if you have to do a takeover, they just keep going, just go, And
I know. Well, yes. Now, film is very seldom used. It's all digital, and as a matter of fact, last week, I did several days on a new feature, a comedy. So in front of the camera, and if something isn't in alignment, it has to the director saying, go back, keep rolling, go back, and you read, you do the scene again, and there's been no cut in the take. So in the 55 years that I've been a professional actress, all of the technological changes, and you have to learn and go. When they started doing multiple handheld cameras, we were doing a show, Sin Elsewhere, and Blues and those kinds of shows. Those were back in the 1990s. That's already 30 years ago, and already this new technology was in place. So you have to. The times. I'm happy to do so.
I want to remind people we're talking with Kathryn Leigh Scott, and to kind of, just so you know, Kathryn, if there's some pausing and whatever, a lot of time you're freezing. So we're just seeing, hearing nothing, seeing your face frozen, and then it sort of catches up sometimes, and sometimes we lose it. I don't think there's anything we can really do about that.
Well, but I'm wondering if that's weather related, because I'm positioned in a place where I've got very good internet connection, and that doesn't happen. So I'm just wondering what the atmosphere are like.
Where are you, by the way? Are you?
I'm in upper state New York. I'm in about an hour out of Manhattan.
Oh, well, I don't think the Canadian fires are doing anything. Who knows?
We've got bad air quality as a result of that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, please. I get bad air quality every time I have a brisket sandwich. You don't want to be around me for 2 hours. But we're talking.
So where are you located?
Well, at the moment, in Maryland, although my congregation is in Great Neck, New York. It's a long commute, but I manage it.
I mean, I don't understand why it's freezing because that never happens. But I hope you're able to use this. I understand you're going to be editing. Yes.
Well, no,
Okay.
we're live. By the way, we're live. We're live on Facebook. People are watching this right now. We should have told this to you.
Oh dear. Okay.
You can tell by the fancy way I'm dressed that I wanted to dress up for the occasion. But let me ask you. You talked about doing summer stock. You talked about doing theater as well as live TV. Did you or did you not do a long run of a show with Jimmy Stewart?
Yes, in London. I was so lucky. I did Harvey, which is a wonderful, fun, old chestnut of a play. And we did a 6-month run, which meant that I was working with Jimmy for 7 months. And every matinee day on Wednesdays and Saturdays, we would go to the same restaurant, order the same meal, just the two of us, and sit and talk for an hour. And on Wednesdays I paid, and on Saturdays he paid. It was just the most, yeah, it was just the most wonderful, lovely chance to really get to know somebody. And Jimmy and I remained close friends until he passed away. And in fact, oddly enough, soon after I worked with Jimmy Stewart and his friend John Wayne. I did a movie with him while
Yeah.
doing Harvey, and I was working in London, and then shortly afterward I moved to Los Angeles, and I lived. Let me see, I guess 3 blocks away from Jimmy. I mean, it was walking distance. So I saw him in LA, and
Tell us a Jimmy Stewart anecdote, something he might have shared with you over lunch, or some funny story.
Oh, I would always, I said, was there anybody that really just knocked your socks off and you just couldn't believe you were were you ever starstruck? And he said, yes. He said, we were starstruck by Greta Garbo. And he said that they used to kind of hide behind the scenery just to watch her work. And, just a wonderful, he just had wonderful stories. He was an environmentalist. He loved, he and his wife and his 2 daughters loved to go to Africa, and they did photographic safaris. But he had wonderful stories about Henry Fonda and their days together, living in a house that they didn't, renting a house when they were working at the Provincetown with the Provincetown Players, and they were both just young guys, and they discovered that the house they'd rented was overrun with feral cats, and his wonderful stories about all of these cats that just kind of took over their lives. But he was.
And did he have any Henry Fonda stories?
Oh, he and Henry Fonda were so close. And while we were doing Harvey, Henry Fonda came to London to do Darrow, which was, the show about Clarence Darrow. And top of the show, and you won't believe this, was, I believe for us, top of the show ticket price was £3.20, which was at the time was maybe just under $5 for that was top of the show price ticket.
I still couldn't afford it with my salary.
And Henry Fonda, his show was going to charge, I think, £4. And when he discovered that discrepancy, Henry Fonda said, "Absolutely not. I'm not going to outprice Jimmy's show." He said, "I want my top of the ticket price to be the same as Jimmy's," which was a wonderful. It was just these guys just simply understood how to deal with the public and how to deal with. They were so comfortable in their own skin. They came out of theater. They came out of the early days, frankly, the early days of talkies. I think one of Jimmy's first roles was in A Thin Man in the early 30s. And the first talkies were 1929, Bulldog Drummond and so on.
Yes.
So these guys grew up with the industry. And when Jimmy did Winchester 77, he was the first actor that got a part of the take. He got
Yeah, we're talking. Yes.
It was Bill Wasserman who was his agent at the time, and Jimmy did the film for a fee, but then he got a back end, and of course residuals came in with Ronald Reagan, who ran the Screen Actors Guild. There's some wonderful history there, but I remember, before Ronald Reagan was heading up the Screen Actors Guild, which, by the way, we're on strike right now. Uh, they got they started getting residuals. I still get residuals for doing Dark Shadows, and that is unheard of. None of the other soap operas, are rerun. They never get residuals, and we do. 55 years later, we still get checks in the mail.
That's. But by the way, I assume you are supportive of the actors going on strike and the writers being on strike for this whole new world of how media, how entertainment is created. Do you think it's
Oh,
resolved?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I am so pro-union in this respect that I was out picketing in Los Angeles with the Writers Guild. I feel so strongly that the people who run the studios walk away with pay packets, like 45 million, and then consider what we're asking for as unrealistic. And we're the creative and craft people who make their earnings possible. So I mean, anybody can understand that. That kind of corporate greed. I'm shocked.
Are you really shocked? You're shocked. You are shocked by corporate greed.
Yeah, I'm shocked that otherwise reasonable people can actually say that their earnings, 45 million, 54 million, whatever they get, in bonuses and pay packets and so on, that's realistic. But asking, writers who actually create these shows, and they do that for free. You create a show and then it's bought.
Right.
So there's a lot of work that one never gets paid for. And actors do an awful lot of work that is not paid for. And one of the things that really sticks in the craw is that it's now possible, to take a digital image of a young actor, a 22-year-old actor, and forever after, that image is owned and can be used in any way that they want to. AI now is capable of
Hey, look,
writing a
Harrison
script.
Ford looked 20. I mean, this is what they can do. Now, let me ask you. We have a few minutes before we move to the quiz portion of the show, where you and Dave and
Oh yes, and I wanted to say for all Dark Shadows fans, the book Dark Shadows Return to Collinwood. If you are watching these reruns, by all means, this book has has an overview of all of the plots, which were very confusing at times, like the Leviathan plot. So if you've got the book, you can actually read about what each episode is about, and it gives you all of these wonderful behind the scenes anecdotes about what it was like to film that day and what happened. So it's a real bonus if you're a Dark Shadows fan.
what was the name of the book again, and where can people get it?
It's called Dark Shadows Return to Collinwood, and you'll find all of these books out the show. You'll find them on my website, www.kathrynleightscott.com, and I'm happy to sign any book or photograph or whatever. And I hope I'm going to see you at the Mad Monster on August 25th to the 27th in Concord, North Carolina. That should be great fun. You can fly into Charlotte, and it's just a short little ride.
Now,
Concord.
we still do have a couple of minutes, but I'm glad you were able to push that book. You have some other books. So,
Yes.
you've written a book. There was a book of your late husband's photograph or paintings or something like that.
Well, yes, I have two husbands who passed away. The first one was a Time Life photographer, Ben Martin. And he was a wonderful photographer who, his photographs are available on Getty Images, but they're also in several art galleries. and one in New York, one in LA. And among them, he photographed all of these wonderful young artists. They were the same age he was. And he photographed them in their studios, like Mark Rothko and, um, Larry Rivers, Helen Frankenthaler, Salvador Dali, Roy Lichtenstein. Wonderful,
Wow. Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
took about 30 of these. So these photographs are available. And then my husband, Jeff Miller, who was the founding editor of Los Angeles Magazine, the first city magazine in the country. And there are about 400 city magazines now that use his template that he started at for LA Magazine. And that was back in 1960. And when he passed away, I donated his papers to UCLA. But I also did a series of books on caregiving because he was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, which is like several other diseases, including Lewy body with dementia, which Robin Williams had, and Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. And there are about 5 of these prime of life diseases that are sometimes referred to as Parkinson's plus, but there's no cure for them. So I wrote the book about caregiving called Last Dance at the Savoy, and also Now With You, Now Without, almost as a primer on how to care for somebody with a neurological disease that is progressive.
Wow. See if that ever got for big
For
government.
asking that question because I'm very proud of doing both of those books and also reissuing Marcel Marceau, Master of Mime, which was my first husband's book about the great mime artist.
Oh, all of these. By the way, what was it? KathrynLeighScott.com.
That's correct.
So
Yes.
really go there. Kathryn, Kathryn, Leigh, Leigh, like Janet Lee. Scott, like Scott. Scott. Get these books, and also go see her, of course. Now, we have one more question before I have to go. Dave comes in. You stay there. You don't go anywhere, but you stay there. You play the quiz. But let me ask you, you brought up John Wayne. Do you have a John Wayne story?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I really love that guy. I did a film called Brannigan, and I played an air hostess, and well, here's the funny story. Much of what I did ended up on the cutting room floor because he plays a detective who goes rogue. He comes to London, and he's got a gun that he's going to carry on, and of course that was right in the middle of all of those skyjackings. And I think wiser heads prevailed, and they did a bit of editing, thank God. But he was wonderful to work with, and I remember we both had an affinity for tuna fish sandwiches, so that's what we ate for lunch. And I had a wonderful time chatting with him because, of course, I was doing Harvey with Jimmy Stewart then, and any friend of Jimmy's was a friend of his.
Wow, just hearing these names. You know what? We have one more minute, so one more. You were also in the film version of The Great Gatsby that featured Mia Farrow and Robert Redford. Do you have a Redford story, a Farrow story, a Gatsby story,
Oh,
a T.J. Eckleberg story, anything? What?
I'll tell you what was really fun about that. We were filming at Pinewood, and Pinewood at that time it was full of these wonderful craftspeople, hairdressers and makeup and everything, who actually knew how to do curling irons with Marcel waves and so on. It was, I think, all of us, everybody in the company loved doing that. I loved working with Sam Waterston, who played Nick Carraway. And I remember being on set when Mia Farrow and Robert Redford showed up. There was one scene that I was in where everybody was there, and just the kind of camaraderie. You cannot, and I stress this, cannot be starstruck when you're working with somebody. I was never starstruck working with John Wayne or Dirk Bogarde, Lana Turner, Jimmy Stewart, Joan Bennett, any of them, because you can't do your work if you're starstruck. And so as soon as an actor of that renown, put it that way, comes on set and you start working with them, you are just two actors doing your job.
This is why you were able for the past half hour to talk to me without being frightened, without being nervous, without because this is come on now I'm added to the canon
Pick up on that.
of extraordinary screen time that you've had with people. I mean, okay, Dirk Bogard and then Rabbi Sal Solomon. Of course, we have been
In
delighted
the same breath, in the same breath.
in the same breath. Well, with me, two breaths because I'm a little short of breath these days. But we've been delightfully chatting with Kathryn Leigh Scott, who is one more time she's going to be appearing at the Mad Monster Expo 2023, August 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets at madmonster.com and buy her books at KathrynLeighScott.com. Now, Ms. Scott, this has been wonderful. Do not go away. I'm going to go away. I'm going to play some screechy, annoying klezmer music. And then Dave will come to take you through the wonderful, ridiculous trivia quiz that you will play alongside some of his great...
Oh my God, I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous.
Don't be... Look, just remember that the quiz is just another actor. And, you know, nervousness has nothing into it. It's you and another actor called the quiz. It's as simple as that. Thank you so much. Here comes the annoying music. You are watching the 903rd episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz, our wonderful new friend of the Daverhood, Kathryn Leigh Scott, and then we have two other folks joining us to play our weekly Today, Yesterday trivia quiz, which, don't be nervous, Kathryn Leigh Scott, because we've got, you know, you're not supposed to get most of these questions right. They're You'll see. You'll see. But joining us, first of all, is Vicki Quade, all the way from Balmy, Chicago, except, of course, that backdrop is not Balmy, Chicago. That's...
I'm getting ready to change it anyway. I can't change it until I actually get on. So, which is a little frustrating, you know.
Please, go ahead. I'll explain who you are while you change your backdrop. Vicki Quade is an actress and writer out in Chicago, co-creator of Late Night Catechism, the classic, probably 25-year-old,
30 years.
30th anniversary. And she also does Bible Bingo and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun, which you can go to Chicago and see at the Greenhouse Theater, as well as other places where you travel. And then having we're having internet issues today that are really interesting. Coming from Canada, it's Moshe Denburg, the musician, who, Moshe's trying. Oh, yeah, better.
I'm here.
Welcome and
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Since we've got other people here,
Why is it going crazy, Mike?
Can he sit in?
By all means. Are you guys okay with having one-on-one in terms of the quiz?
He just wants to meet you all.
I like that you had to clarify that in terms of the quiz.
In terms of the quiz, yes. In terms of saying hi, please come on. Hello.
All right.
I've got a problem here. Dave, can you hear? Can you hear me, Dave?
Hello. First of all, Moshe is kind of coming in and out because he's having some internet.
No, he's coming. There you are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, and you look great and you sound great. We're saying hi to Kathryn Leigh Scott, the actress from Dark.
Hi, Kathryn.
Hi.
Lots of TV shows and movies, and she's sitting next to.
It's going bad.
It's doing it again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, but Kathryn, I'm sorry. Please introduce properly the person that we only see his shoulder. Unfortunately, can you?
His name is Patrick Oster, and he's from Chicago. He's a writer, thriller writer.
Yeah, everybody.
Patrick, were you born in Chicago?
Patrick Oster, as in poster without the P.
Patrick, were you born in Chicago?
I was, yeah.
Where?
Well, I was born in a suburb called Harvey, which was the first suburb.
I know Harvey, sure.
Yeah, probably a little dangerous to go there these days.
I was born in what is now near Oak Lawn. It is Burbank, Illinois, southwest side. So
Yeah. No,
And it's like,
my family, my
sorry.
family lives all throughout the suburbs.
No,
and-
me, I have a real problem here. It's going crazy.
I
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Wait, wait. I did hear
Just
you.
a second. Can you hear me, Dave? Can you
I
hear me?
you just fine. Wait. Oh,
Yeah, the problem is I got a video issue here. I'm asking my wife whether she could fix this. Let me have you.
if she can't, we can manage with just audio.
Yeah.
We've done that before with
Look
Leslie.
at that. It's going.
Remember that we can hear everything you're saying as you're trying to fix that issue,
Yeah.
including your verbal
I'm so
warm-up.
sorry, Dave. This is an unexpected problem, but it's okay. As long as you can hear me, I mean, there's a certain amount of intelligence involved.
Not from me, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
but can you hear us and see us? Moshe, can
I
you?
can see you perfectly. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, Pat and Kathryn, are you the couple, or is he the boyfriend, or is he friend?
I shouldn't have used you.
Who is?
I am.
You are. Oh my. Well,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, and it's great to see you.
Yourself,
And please feel free to stick
You're
toward.
not a boyfriend.
All right. So let me explain how the game is played. As
Yeah.
Moshe
No.
might or not might be there, and we have Vicki and we have Kathryn Leigh and Pat. So,
I'm here, Dave. I'm here.
Great. Okay. So, it's called the Today Yesterday quiz. There are quiz questions. Some of them are multiple choice, some are not. All of them are kind of ridiculous. Some of them are based on things that happened in history on this date, which is July 15th. So it might be July 15th, 1972, July 15th, 1548. Each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you don't get it right, Lullaby. Is he there? You're muted momentarily, so you got to unmute. Oh no.
What happened?
No, Moshe's having all sorts of digital problems. No, it's
I'm having video issues, so you can hear me, and I shall continue. Vicki, it's great to see you. I'm sorry that I'm not showing you my face yet, but I'm here, Dave, and I'm willing to participate.
good. Maybe you can just show your legs. That would be
My legs? That would be really good.
anyway.
Hubba.
That's my wife Joyce over there also. So it's going to be an interesting quiz today. Here we go. 2 points if you get it right. If you get it
Okay,
wrong, you don't lose anything, but one of the other contestants gets to try and steal the question for those 2 points. But it's meaningless. There's no prizes. Everybody thinks aloud. It's just about having fun together. So the one thing I will ask our brand new friends of the Daverhood, Kathryn and Pat, could you kindly pick a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is?
3.
Kathryn with a 3. Okay. You know what? Moshe, are you there audio-y?
Yes, I am.
And Moshe, you are probably the second least person who's been on the show, with all due respect to Vicki. So, Moshe, what would be your number between 1 and 6? Moshe, are you there? Oh, Moshe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. 2. 2.
Great, thank you. All right, and Vicki, could you kindly?
He can always chat, or he can text you, and I can read his answers in text.
Oh, that'd be
Either
clever.
way.
Yeah, that is clever. Okay.
Either way.
Catherine, what number did you pick?
I picked 3. Joyce, did you want to get on camera?
No, my wife doesn't.
No.
She's wanted in various states and has to stay 600 feet away from animals. So, Vicki, your number?
Why don't I take a 6?
Oh, you're taking Leslie's number, Vicki.
I know, Leslie. I'm doing it in honor of Leslie. I'll do it.
Now, Leslie couldn't play the game today. She is out with her family and traveling. So, yay to her. Anyway,
That's what she said.
here's the deal. Joyce, I'm going to ask you
Okay.
to
I'm rolling
please.
2 just in case.
All right. Well, that's clever, I guess. One of them is a 5, but the other is a 6. So, Vicki, do you want to go first, second, or third?
I'll go first.
Vicki going first. Hunt, could you roll again? A 1 and a 1. Nothing yet. Just so you know, she's rolling die on the floor. She's actually got these big rubber die cube things. A 6 again. Roll again. 5. This takes
I'll go first.
5 again.
I'll just keep
3.
saying.
We got a 3. Hold it. We got a 3. 3
Show them
is
the dice.
Kathryn. Kathryn and Pat. Oh, here's the die. Just so you know, this is real. We were actually rolling these.
It's beautiful.
Kevin, would you like to go
And so I
second?
can read them with
Yeah,
my.
fine, good. Second is good.
Second is good. So Kathryn is second, and then Moshe, you get to go third.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. You're most welcome. We will get through this, I promise. So here's the deal.
Dave, I'm trying to connect on my phone, see if it's better. But in the meantime, I'm with you. It's just that I would like to show my face, but I can't do this
Love
right.
to see your handsome face, but if not, we'll work with your voice.
Thank you.
So here's the deal. Vicki first, Kathryn second, Moshe third. And we begin, therefore, with Vicki, who gets the first question. Vicki, this is a multiple choice, and it has to do with July 15th, 1799. Okay. During the time Napoleon's forces were poking around Egypt, French Captain Pierre-François Bouchard was in the town of Rosetta, where he found a one-ton rock covered with writing. The Rosetta Stone has gone on to be a huge help in translating hieroglyphics. But which is false about the Rosetta Stone?
Okay.
A, the French Egyptologist who cracked the hieroglyphic code ran to tell his brother and then immediately fainted. B, the stone's inscription was written by Pharaoh's workers to give instructions on how to behave during royal ceremonies. C, it took translators 2 decades to figure out the hieroglyphic parts of the stone. Or D, when Egypt asked for the stone back, England said no, but sent them a giant replica instead. One of these is false. The others are absolutely true. And this question goes directly to Vicki Quade.
What's the first one again, Dave?
A is, the French Egyptologist who cracked the hieroglyphic code ran to tell his brother and then immediately fainted. You need the others, Vicki? Yeah.
No. I have my own Rosetta Stone story. In that I was at the British Museum. This was 1983. I was there with my dear friend Marianne, and she was by those statues of the animals with the human head and the long beard, and I wanted to get a picture of that. And I went back. Oh no, go back a little bit more. Ow! Jesus Christ. And I looked back and I had bumped into the corner of the Rosetta Stone.
The alarms and
No, not at all. Nothing. It was on a little platform in the middle of an aisle. It was just there. It was just sitting there.
This is actually another truth about the Rosetta Stone, that in its earlier years, when it was in museums and stuff, people were allowed to touch it. It wasn't until later that it stopped people from the oils and stuff. It was just a big rock.
It was just there because they had already cracked it. So to them, it was just sitting there,
Wow.
Years later, I went to the British Museum with my son, David, and he couldn't believe that now it was in an alcove. So he sat on the edge and leaned all the way back to touch it so that I would not be the only one in the family to have touched it. Now it's behind like acrylic or something, you can't get anywhere near it.
Wow.
So, and then here, this is my little French. I am on the Champs-Elysees. It is for Bastille Day.
I had no idea. No.
I know, because I'm mostly
But you're in
blind.
Paris? You're in Paris now?
Not now. I have been in Paris, but no, that is just a photo.
Oh, okay. It's just the background.
It's just the background. Okay, so I'm going to say the guy who fainted is possible. 2 months or 2 years, 2 years to crack the hieroglyphics.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let me, I'm going to read, because it's been a while since I've done. Let me redo these things. Here we go. A, which of these is false?
Right, false. So the guy fainted, that's A.
French hieroglyphic code ran to tell his brother and then immediately
fainted. Right.
The stone's inscription was written by Pharaoh's workers to give instructions on how to behave during royal ceremonies. C, it took translators 2 decades to figure out the hieroglyphic parts of the stone. Or D, when Egypt asked for the stone back, England said no, but sent them a giant replica instead. False.
I was in Egypt in 2022, and they just hate the fact that Rosetta Stone is still at the British Museum. oh my God, what insult if they had sent them a replica. But I bet they did. What an insult. Nah, we'll keep the original. You can just have this one. God, would they have done that to them? I bet they did. I'm going to say that it took them longer than 2 decades to decipher. I don't know why. I feel like it may have taken them. Maybe it took them shorter. I mean, once they cracked the one code, they were able to crack the rest.
So
I'll say that's false.
So you're going to say it's false that it took 2 decades to. That is your final answer.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'm afraid, no, please don't crack up, Vicki.
No, that's
Not the correct answer. It really did take 2
decades.
Just a little over 2 decades for them to do, because they got one, there's 3 different kinds of writing of the same thing.
Right, sure.
But the third one was, I can't, I'll tell the rest after
David,
we
they
get the
should
answer.
have used Google Translate.
Yeah, right. If they used Google Translate, it would have done it.
5 minutes.
Yeah. But no, there's a reason, and we'll get to that. But anyway, no. So, Joyce, could you kindly roll the die?
And I think it's true that the French did not find it. They took it.
Oh, yeah.
Or the British, whoever found it didn't get to keep it. The other troops came in and took it.
Yeah, there was a fight over that, and that's
Wait. You mean there's issues of colonialism?
No. Never. All right, so Joyce has rolled a 5, which means we don't have a 5.
Okay.
We have another 5. We have a 6. 6 was Vicki. A 3. We have a. Here's the other die.
Okay.
3 means.
Come on, Kathy, you can answer this. What is it?
Look at me.
So it's a rubber die.
You hit my thumb with the die.
Kathryn, you get to steal this question, you and Pat. So there are 3 other choices. Which do you think is false about the Rosetta Stone?
All right. Did they send it to him as a joke? Like, hey, here, we'll keep the original, but we're going to send you the other one.
Now you want us to answer that Rosetta.
You have to steal it from
Same
me.
question. In other words, Vicki got the answer wrong.
So you can get 2 points.
So we think which one?
The Manderson.
Yeah, both of us came up with this one. We don't think that the hieroglyphic were written so that the workers knew how to behave at royal occasions.
So you're saying it is full. That
Whatever that one was, that we think that's false.
Which one is false, Kathryn?
It's letter B. The stone's inscription was written by Pharaoh's workers to get
How they're supposed to behave.
Right. Final answer?
That's it.
Well, I always love when this happens, when a new player to the game gets on the board with 2 big points, because that is the correct answer. Congratulations to Kathryn and Pat, because they get on the board first with 2 points.
Why don't you just call them
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
So here's the deal.
Cat for Kathryn and Pat is Cat.
Cat. So do you mind if I call you Cat? I don't know this woman, and you want me to call her Cat. Do you mind if I call you guys Cat?
Okay.
Great. But here's the deal. You're absolutely right.
Team Cat.
The stone was made by priests to list the accomplishments of the then 12-year-old Pharaoh,
Wow.
who already done a bunch of stuff, but they wanted to make him look good in front of the people and everything. So that's kind of neat.
It's like the World Wrestling Federation when they come in, or it's the Nathans. It's the guy who does the Nathans hot dog contest.
Yeah.
This man is, a god among men, right? They have to.
And they did it in 3 languages on this
Yeah.
big rock. And what happened was with the hieroglyphic thing, it took years and years for the guy who's like, wait a minute, these little symbols aren't just like picture things. It was phonetic. And he cracked the code as if it were just a regular other language.
Mhm.
And then they finally got it after like 20 years.
Oh my
So,
god.
but it really was true that Jean-Francois Champollion whose brother worked nearby. There was some French. He was working on this thing. And he was like, oh my God, I cracked it. He cracked the language of it, the phonetic idea. Ran to his brother, like, a couple of blocks. And I've done it. And he fainted. Right in front of his brother. True story. Anyway, congratulations to Kathryn, who's got 2 points on the board in our Today Yesterday quiz. This is the interesting thing, Kathryn and Kat, you get the next question directly. The second question of the quiz goes directly to you guys, and it's another multiple choice. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Get it. They're gonna get it. Come on, guys, you got it.
On Tuesday, this week, the literary world lost Czech-born, mostly exiled writer Milan Kundera, who passed at age 91 after a long illness. He's best known as the author of The Unbearable Lightness of Being, but which of these was not one of his other novels? A, Immortality, B, Ignorance, C, Ingratitude, D, Identity.
Oh my Lord.
I know, the quiz is absolutely ridiculous, but...
And then F, Enigma.
Well, Enigma would be that, yeah.
So tell us the choices again, Dave, please.
Of course. So, but this question goes directly to Kat.
Of course, I'm going to be quiet. Don't worry.
Milan Kundera, who died at age 91 this past
Kundera.
week, known as the author of The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Which of these was not another Kundera novel? A, Immortality, B, Ignorance, C, Ingratitude, D, Identity.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a guess.
I figured, yeah. It would be for me, anybody, yeah.
Ingratitude.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, was it ingratitude or gratitude?
Immortality, Ignorance, Ingratitude, Identity. One of those is not a Kundera novel, and you're saying Ingratitude is not the Kundera novel. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, Kat, I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but you're getting 2 more points because that is the correct.
Wow, fantastic. Oh, she's
You are on fire.
wow,
my
totally,
goodness.
totally. I mean, it's worse than the fires here in BC, man.
I read his obituary and anyway.
I read the obituary too, but I didn't remember looking at that information. Ingratitude. How do you like that?
Oh boy. So,
Dave, I tell you, I'm trying to connect with another computer, but I'm not going to log off or anything like this. So I'm still here with you audio-wise. You can ask me the question. We can continue. And if I succeed with this other computer, you'll see me and you can let me in, okay?
wonderful. And if this were, let's also do this question, and then you can really kind of go away for a little bit.
Good. Well, I don't have to go away. I'm almost there. But okay, go for it. I'm listening.
This question goes directly to Moshe Denburg, a musician, by the way. Moshe, let's ask you real quick. What have you been working on recently? What's your latest?
Lately, well, what I've been doing is creating a lot of YouTube videos for my oeuvre with my Jewish group Tzimmus. So, got lots of Jewish songs. There's a YouTube station, and we're doing all kinds of wonderful original YouTube productions, and it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that a lot.
Where can you find it?
You could find it if you go to YouTube and you look up Tzimmus Music. I think you should be able to find it if you look up Tzimmus Music.
T-S-Z.
No, T-Z. Sorry, Americans. T-Z-I-M-M, mother, E-S, Sam.
The Americans forgive you. All right, so Moshe, this time it's your question.
All right, let's have it.
And this
Bring
is
it on.
a multiple choice. Here we go. The year was 1859, July 15th, the day. On this date, French chemist Hippolyte Maugemuret takes out a patent on his most famous creation, oleomargarine, invented in response to a government contest. Oleomargarine.
Oleo?
Yeah, margarine back then. He did it in response to a government contest spurred on by a butter shortage in France. This pharmacist also worked on all these other projects except which? A, A way to make bigger loaves of bread using the same amount of ingredients. B, a medicine for syphilis with fewer side effects. C, an anti-itch ointment, which included, among other things, seaweed and duck fat. Or D, a way to tan leather using egg yolks. One of these was not an
And
invention.
he was a chemist, you say?
French
Okay,
hip one is Mege Mourier.
Mourier. Okay. So, all right. So the first thing, you'll have to repeat them, Dave, please.
Sure. So which of these was not another invention besides margarine
Yeah.
by Mege Mourier? A way to make bigger loaves of bread using the same amount of ingredients. B, a medicine for syphilis with fewer side effects. C, an anti-itch ointment, which included, among other things, seaweed and duck fat. Or D, a way to tan leather using egg yolks.
I think that I'm going to say that the tanning leather is okay, and the other one with the seaweed and stuff is okay. The first one was
A way to make bigger loaves of bread using
okay,
the same amount of ingredients.
bigger loaves of bread using the same amount of ingredients. So you would have to somehow get the yeast to be bigger or something. And the second one?
Second one is a medicine for syphilis with fewer side effects.
Okay, I'm going to say that he didn't invent, because I have a feeling that medicine for, I don't know, with syphilis, I think that maybe later on, they really got into, having good medicines with syphilis. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with that one. That's my intuition, that he did not create a medicine for syphilis with greater side effects. I'm probably wrong, but there you go.
Okay, final answer. Final answer is syphilis, right?
Yeah.
Denburg. Well, Moshe, I hate to be the drip, but that is not the correct answer. He did figure out a way to have cure-ish with fewer stuff. So we have a steal opportunity. What I'm going to do is I actually have I do have my trusty online dice roll. Oh wait, all right, hold on. All right, so Joyce is back. Hold on. She rolled a 4 and a 2. Wait, that could work, I think. Hold on. Somebody's got 2.
No, Moshe has 2.
Oh, all right. Hold on.
Yeah, mine is number 2. Yeah, that's right.
And we've got 5 and 2. Did anybody have a 5? No. Joyce is rolling again. And we've got a 3 and a 3. So 3.
Okay, that's Kathy. That's Kathy.
Oh boy. So Kathryn, you get to try and steal. Wait, where's my zoom on this? There we are. Yeah. She could get 6 points now.
Whoa. You go, Kathryn.
You can do it.
And Pat.
But Kathryn is cleaning up today.
I know,
Okay,
right?
yeah, right. So, bread itch or
Tanning leather.
tanning leather?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with bread.
You're going to say it is not true.
The bread, he didn't do the
Not
bread.
true that using the same amount of ingredients to
Create a bigger loaf, yeah.
although that does involve chemistry, but I'm going to go with bread,
Final answer?
even though sure.
Well, even though we all loaf you, I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. So we have a Vicki steal
I
opportunity.
could steal.
I am so disappointed, Kathryn. I thought you were just going to clean our clocks totally.
Aw.
Well, I have to tell you a little tiny story about margarines. They're real short, but in Wisconsin, it was illegal to sell margarine that looked like butter. So it was sold.
No,
That was Minnesota.
are you sure?
Yeah, I'm
I'll
from
trust her on
Minnesota.
this. Yeah.
Are you from Minnesota? My dad's from Minnesota too.
My family, when we did our Christmas cookies and so on, my mother and my grandmother and my aunt would drive across the border to Iowa so that you could buy oleomargarine. Otherwise, you bought these white packets that had a little orange pellet, and it was a plastic packet. And the kids would sit there and do that to spread the orange coloring
Right.
through the oleo so that instead of being white, it was yellow. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
First-hand information.
Excellent.
Thank
Yeah.
I'm a farm kid.
So was my dad. Where were you born in Minnesota?
I was born in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. I grew up on a farm.
My dad did too, but he was born in down by Matawan County near Albert Lee.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
video.
anyway, that is a fact, what I just told you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's also true in Wisconsin, though. But you're right about Minnesota. It could be true in the
I'm
Midwest.
not familiar with Wisconsin, but
But
Minnesota.
they sold a little pill, a yellow that you put in there.
It was a little orange pill, and it was right in the middle of this square thing of oleo, and you sat there softening it and squeezing the plastic until you got it uniformly throughout, and then you
Yeah.
opened the plastic and you had a yellow brick.
Yeah, right.
That's sort of like the little orange pill I take to maintain my erections. So there you go. Well, Vicki, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so the last two are tanning with egg yolk and
Yeah, you have two left. You have a 50-50 shot.
tanning with egg yolk.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, we can see you.
Welcome, Moshe. That's Moshe Denburg.
Here's my face. This computer is probably not as good as the other, but at least it's not going
to
crazy.
see you.
So hello, Vicki.
Hello,
Nice
Moshe.
to meet you, Kathryn. Let's start again.
Well, wait. We can't start again because
No. So I have, okay, what's the other one? It's the eggs, tanning with eggs and
or an
the
anti-itch,
itch.
which. So yeah, is that your final answer though? The or the itch one, which is false?
I think that, Jesus, that's hard because I could see that the tanning with eggs possible. Somebody might try to do that, although it doesn't make a lot of sense. And the itch, which was duck fat and seaweed, very French. Would they waste duck fat on an itch thing? I don't know, maybe.
Where the itch was, Vicki.
Yeah, really. All right. I'm going to say the egg yolk. When I heard that, I thought that sounded weird.
Yeah.
They all sound weird, but go ahead.
I thought the bread one
Probably stumped us.
Yeah. So, but that's your final answer, Vicki? Is the egg yolk one? Here we go. Oh, Vicki, you're just a shell of your former self because I've stumped the panel.
It is the seaweed. Yeah.
It was the seaweed and duck fat. I made that up. That has nothing to do with anything. So, but all the
That
other,
was very inventive of you.
It
Very
was.
inventive of you.
I wish I invented it. It'd be a nice thing to stop an itch.
What you don't know is David loves duck, so it's probably his addiction to duck that made him bring that up.
This is true. Well, and I like making wisecracks. So anyway,
Aw.
at the end of the first round, that's why people watch this on the web. And I get top billing.
Stop being so quackers.
All right. So anyway, at the end of round one of the Today Yesterday quiz, we have Kathryn and Pat on top with 4 points. Right behind are Vicki and Moshe, not on the board yet.
Nothing.
But everything can change in our second and final round. And then, of course, we have our tiebreaker question.
I have been totally discombobulated because of my computer problems. I apologize.
We accept fully your apology. All Americans accept your Canadian apology right now.
Sorry, eh?
Except the letter Z.
Yeah, letter Z is still where
It still doesn't work for you, the letter Z.
So, Vicki, you.
Oh yeah, this is mine now again. Okay, go ahead.
Question directly.
Another question I can miss.
Well, I don't know, but just be happy you're not Leslie, because guess what kind of question
Oh,
this
no.
is?
Is it 3 new clues in the news?
Yes, it's 3
Okay.
clues in the news. So,
All right, go ahead.
These are 3 words unrelated to each other, but each of these words separately relates to a word that we are looking for, and a word that has something to do in the news.
I'm just gonna grab a piece of paper so I can write them down. Okay, go ahead.
So, Kathryn and Pat, I'll explain this if this question gets to you. I'll
It will.
explain more, but Vicki kind of knows how this works.
Okay.
The 3 separate words, how do they connect to another word? The words are character, supporting,
Hmm.
prepares,
I'm sorry, what was the third one?
prepares.
Hairs.
Supporting character prepares.
Yes.
I was gonna say actor, supporting actor, character actor, but prepares. I'm gonna say actor.
Is that your final answer, Vicki?
Sure. Sure.
Well, you win the Oscar, Vicki Quade, because that is the correct answer.
Excellent.
Yay! An actor prepares is the Stanislavski book from, that millions of actors have used to.
Yeah.
Character actor and then supporting actor. That is the word we were looking for. And why is the word actor? And
The
Kathryn
strike.
saying that, yeah.
Because the SAG-AFTRA
The
strike.
strike. Well,
Actors have joined the writers' strike. Woo, woo.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that who was it who recommended that whenever the actors or anyone involved in the strike posts something about the powers that be that they are fighting, that they put their salaries there, so that everyone gets to see how much they're making off the work of these writers, and I think that's really interesting.
Well, for this, I'm currently at minus $27.
No,
So.
we lived through it in Argentina. Remember, Somos Actores, no somos.
Joyce and I, many years ago, we were invited to Argentina to see their ASE Awards, which was their version of the Tony Awards. And while that was going on, the actors were on strike, and we would see actors going, they're film and TV,
But it
not
was
that theater
Somos
ones.
Actores, no, what was the?
Yeah, we are actors. We just want to act. It was Somos Actores, queremos actuar. Or
Something, I don't
actuar,
remember the second,
Like, anywho.
Did you cross the picket line?
I don't think we had to. It wasn't that kind of a thing. We
No,
weren't.
they weren't, it was Argentina.
Basically, yes. No, but it wasn't. I don't know what it was, or whether we were on a strike or they were just
I
protesting or
think the
something like
actors
that.
then took a break for some coffee and some.
And a siesta, and then
coffee and some kind of. Sweet.
and then most of them disappeared. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
But
God.
anywho,
Oh my God, David, no.
so congratulations to Vicki for getting 2 points on the board. It's a close game now. 2 points away from Kathryn, but Kathryn and Pat, you guys can now get 2 more points if you get this question.
You'll
And
probably
this
lock up a victory here.
actually, it would. So
Yeah,
no pressure.
Moshe's victory is getting actually,
Getting
dealing with
on camera.
technology is sometimes a pain in the,
So here's the deal, Kathryn. No pressure, but this is all the marbles right here.
And Pat too.
And Pat, sorry. So this is a regular, old-fashioned, one answer. There's no multiple choice, no whatever. Trivia question. The year was 1956. Born today is musician Ian Curtis, lead singer, songwriter, and guitarist for the seminal Manchester band Joy Division. Although Curtis, tormented by depression and epilepsy, hung himself.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
happy question, isn't it? Hung himself at age 23. The band went on. However, they changed their name to something novel and neat. What was that name?
Novel and what?
Neat. Novel and neat.
NEAT, right?
Yeah.
Neat.
So they didn't work as Joy Division any longer.
No.
How could they, right?
When he killed himself, they
How
decided.
could they? Yeah, that's like a horrible. Legacy.
Novel and neat.
What's the opposite of legacy? History? History.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to use the internet to figure this out.
No, there's no Googling. You can't. No, of course not.
Google.
Well, everyone's got a phone. You can start Googling
Yeah,
it.
but that you can't. I'm sorry, what was that, Kathryn?
He was born in 1956?
Yes,
Or
Ian Curtis, the guy who killed himself, he was born in 1956 on July 15th. And his story was that he was the lead singer, songwriter, and guitarist for the seminal Manchester band Joy Division. Although Curtis committed suicide at age 23, the band went on. However, they changed their name to something novel and neat. What was that name?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
When did he die?
what year did he die?
Well, he was 23, so 1956 plus 23.
None of that's important.
Like 79, but it
None
doesn't.
of it's important. It's only what did they change their name to? And the clues are novel and neat. What's novel? What's neat? That's the name of the band after they changed it from Joy Division. It's a good movie about them.
Yeah, yeah.
Really? About Joy Division?
Yeah.
Well, Ian Curtis, and yeah.
So young, 23.
That is
He was not a happy
the
camper.
definition of young.
Novel and neat.
Actually, if a dog lives to 23, it's not young at all. So it's
Dogs don't ever live to 23, do they? Cats do.
Very rarely.
they can't. Some
Cats
don't.
do.
Yeah.
Cats pretty common. Live old.
Cats might live a little longer, I think.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not longer than 23, but longer than dogs.
I had a
Oh no, they do. They definitely live longer than dogs.
teacher in high school named Mr. Katz, and he's still alive.
Oh,
And
man.
he's well into his 70s. So yeah.
Wow.
So how are we doing, Kathryn and Pat? How's that going over there?
No, we're just going through all of them. The Police, Who, Queen.
Yeah.
Novel and neat.
No, it wouldn't be the Who because I think Peter Townsend's the people like that are older, right? But
Alive, yeah.
What?
Well, the Who didn't stop after Keith Moon,
Yeah.
he didn't kill himself. Well, he actually, whatever, he just stupided.
The same with the Stones. I mean, the Stones lost, the
Right.
drummer. Yeah.
Charlie, yeah. So
Oh, neat. Yeah, it's very
Well, the
different.
Beatles lost Stu Sutcliffe.
well, Stu, he didn't die. They jumped
he did.
died later.
No, he died. He had a brain aneurysm. You're thinking Pete Best.
Oh, you're right.
They
I'm sorry.
jumped Pete
Uh,
Best.
Best was the first.
Oh, it's the name of the group that they changed their name, so it's the new name for the group.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Pick a name. Pick
Pick anything.
Or if you don't know, talk about your current project.
KathrynLeeScott.com.
Yes. I think that's the new name of this band.
Novel and neat.
And you, by the way, you're allowed to talk it out. You've seen what kind of quiz this is, so you don't have to go like, if you want to just talk extemporaneously and think it out, that's part of the quiz.
You away from the multiple choice.
We can't think of the answer, and it's probably right there, and we're going to go, oh, of course.
I think so. Me too.
Well,
The band was in Manchester. He was from Manchester.
yeah.
Not Herman's Hermits.
Vicky?
Look at the picture of the double rainbow. That will encourage them.
Yeah. We actually took this yesterday after our brainstorm. You can kind of see.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And then
Beautiful.
there's a double one there too. So.
Oh, it is a double rainbow.
Yeah. Oh, so Kathryn, we kind of need an answer. So what are you thinking? Or makes
We don't have an answer.
Gonna pass?
We don't have an answer.
All right. We're rolling
pass.
on. I'm sorry. What was that? I missed. What'd you say?
We pass.
We pass. No problem.
No answer. We have no answer.
That's very
Moshe and
noble of you.
I don't think Moshe and I have the answer either.
I'm trying to find something on the tip of my tongue, but right now the tip of my tongue.
But we saw two. Somebody's got to do. Is that?
Well, it's
What-
novel
what-
and
roll
neat.
the two.
So,
So
Oh, you rolled a 2, so now it's my turn.
Yes.
excellent.
I don't know. The new pornographers.
oh, is that your final answer?
It's the only thing I can think of.
The only thing you can think of is pornography? No, is that your final answer?
That's it. The new
That is
pornographers.
actually not a bad guess in terms of time-wise, but it is not the new pornographers band. So, Vicki, you
Oh,
can
God. Yeah, this is like, forget it.
What's the name of the band?
Wait.
The name
Kathryn,
of the band. I know. It's
Hold it.
novel and neat. So a novel is it a
Novel
book?
new, but
And
pornographers
neat.
is not neat.
Something that's neat is
Actually,
What?
thank you for saying that, Moshe, because we technically owe you 1 point.
Why?
I can't tell you yet, but I
Okay,
can give you a point.
Vicky, that's a hint to you.
okay. So it's I know the new pornographers.
And that is not a correct answer, but it is
No.
partially correct.
Partially correct. So it's either new or pornographer. Book and neat.
Think.
Neat. I don't know. Pornographers. I'm thinking it's got to be pornographers instead of new. Novel and neat. Geez. What do you think it is, Moisha?
I don't know.
If you even know,
Come on,
he's
Kathy.
got it.
We can figure this
Throw
out.
out one idea.
Go.
Yeah. You know what? Well, Vicki, do you want to have the idea, or do you want to take your guess?
No. Let Kathy do it. She might pick up a point.
Pistols.
I missed it.
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols. No, that is not the
No.
correct
It's
answer.
not Sex Pistols.
Took up my pornography. Now she's gone to Sex Pistols.
That's right. Yeah.
hmm.
Nothing to do with pornography. Nothing to do with.
And I'm guessing novel and neat is the clue, right?
There is yes. That's part of the thing. So
Yeah, novel and neat. So we have pornographers. Did you say pornographers?
I say pornography.
yes, with new pornographers, which was worth 1 point because that was partially correct.
It was partially correct.
Not the part.
Oh, we just thought of
No,
it.
obviously not.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Kathy. What do you think?
Moby?
Moby, no, it's not. No, not to be a dick, but it's not Moby. Yeah. So
It's got to be 2 words. It's 2 words because it's either new or pornographers. The new Christie Minstrels.
oh, wow.
That's neat.
Rather
The
opposite.
See that?
Neat.
Is that going to be your final answer? The new
Sure, why not? Because I have no idea.
I like that one, Vicki.
All right. So anyway, I've stumped
Up
the
with
panel again
people.
on this one.
Joy Division went to up with people, you know.
Should have made this a multiple choice. I'm sorry about that. But here's the deal.
Answer, we have to go to the gym.
So here's the deal. The answer, novel and neat. The band is New Order.
Oh, New Order.
You never
Ah,
heard of New Order?
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I didn't
The New
realize they
Order.
had changed.
Yeah, and they've been in New Order for like 25, 30 years. They're still,
Right.
still out
Right,
there.
right. I didn't realize they started as Joy Division.
So I want to make sure that that our new friends have time to get to the gym. So we have one more question in our regular round, and it goes directly to Moshe. So,
Okay, I'm ready. I got 1 point, eh?
what time do you guys have to go? Because I know we're already on the 45-minute mark.
So we've been at this almost 2 hours, so let's.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it going. So, Moshe, question for you. This is change one letter. You know how that's played?
Explain.
Okay. So, this question, which will be phrased in the form of a short poem, will have 2 answers, each one worth 1 point apiece. But the 2 answers are only 1 letter different from each other. Okay?
Okay.
So, here's the. Do I need to give you an example of? I guess I will. Here's the deal.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Kathy really looks like she wants to go because she's been on for 2 hours. Why don't we just say they're the winners? And then Moisha
Are you?
Moshe and I can-
Because you can fly
If Kathy,
No, Moisha can only get 2 points.
Kathy, I'm perfectly happy for you to collect your winnings and go.
Why don't we do that? Yeah, I want you guys to get to the
So
gym.
wrong.
You must
But
have.
everyone look right into the camera and smile. Smile. You ready? Excellent. Okay.
Right.
So, Kathryn, Pat, let me thank you for playing the quiz. I'll keep Vicki and Moshe.
Thank you. We got a chicken to put in the oven, and then we're going to the gym.
Run.
Well, that was a very half Jewish answer. The gym part, no, but the chicken in the oven, that's a very Jewish thing to say.
Chicken in the oven is always Jewish.
So, want to remind people one last time that they can go see Kathryn in person at the Mad Monster Expo 2023. It's running August 25th through the 27th in Concord, New Hampshire. Madmonster.com for tickets.
No, Concord, North Carolina.
Oh, sorry, North Carolina, excuse me. I'm rushing through this. Madmonster.com for tickets. And go to her website, KathrynLeighScott.com, to buy her books. She's got several out, including one all about dark shadows. Also, a couple of photograph books from stuff by her late husband. Bunches of books. Thank you to Pat also for coming to play the Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Great to meet you. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thank you so much for being in the Daverhood.
Shalom, kids. Shalom.
Bye. Bye. Enjoy that chicken.
So, all righty. Now, we've got,
Okay, now Moisha's got change one letter.
Moishe's got change.
Now,
So,
the things give you an example, Dave, so that I can actually refresh my brain, which is really fried this morning.
Well, like train to brain. something about,
Oh,
change.
Yeah.
Change one letter. I get it.
Something like that. You're just taking one word, changing one letter for the
It's
answer.
a word. You change one letter and you get another answer.
Exactly.
So you got it.
Yeah, you're smart.
Here is the clue, which is in poem form, and it's about someone who was the answer is the last name of someone who was born in Germany in 1946 on this date.
Born in Germany on July 15th, 1946. Incidentally, I want to tell you something. My father, may he rest in peace, was born July 15th in
Oh, happy birthday.
1918. So he would have been 105 today, but that was not in the cards. But whatever.
The temperature's 105 today, and
That's right, especially in the States, down here in the South. Here in Vancouver, it's still wonderful weather.
Although I have a friend who lives in Vegas, and I think they're going to hit 115 today, and I'm not.
Incredible what's happening over there. Incredible.
And the northeast side, Vermont.
Northeast,
and all
you're
that.
getting all kinds of rain, and you're getting our smoke too.
Well, Vegas, I mean, the temperature's like that. What are the odds? But anyway,
Incredible.
And 11
Okay, David,
tornadoes.
I know you also want to go to the gym, so hit us with your questions so that we can actually honor this yesterday, today, and tomorrow quiz.
Here we go.
Okay.
Born in Germany, 1946. Here's
Yes.
the poem. This week we bid farewell to a Bernstein protege whose pianism was sprightly. Change one letter for viral growths that are unsightly.
Viral growths that are unsightly. Boils. How about? Well, boil is really a good name because it could be Boyl or Boil. So Boyle comes to mind, but
if Boyle is the name, then the first name of the piano player is
we need the
Boyle or
first
something.
name.
Well, I'm just saying you have
Last
to
name.
have both.
Last name. We're looking.
Last name.
Yeah, like
It's
Doyle and Boyle, something like
Bernstein
that.
protege, a Bernstein protege. So what? So Lenny was the sort of the mentor of this this pianist.
pianist.
The pianist be in Germany. In Germany in 1946, you say he was born?
That is correct.
I wonder whether it's Sondheim.
Did he just die? Is that it or no?
Yes, because I'll read the poem again. This week we bid farewell.
This week, this actual week.
This actual week we bade farewell, I guess, to a Bernstein protege whose pianism was sprightly. Change one letter for viral growths that are unsightly.
Rightly.
Pianism was sprightly, so he played sort of
Something unsightly, a viral growth. That's unsightly.
But who passed it? Usually, I sort of find the obits. People like great musicians I usually hear about. I don't know who died this week who was of that ilk. I mean, it's not far from my age too. He's 3 years older than me. Gee, you got me really stumped this morning, Dave.
Do you want to pass or do you want to push?
No.
Don't pass.
As long as Vicki is not running off to the gym yet. Okay?
Don't pass. No. Oh no, I'm fine. I'm staying here.
Okay, good. So it was a pianist who was sprightly. In other words, he Clyburn.
Protege of Leonard Bernstein.
And
Something to do with
you change one
viral.
letter, and it becomes a virus that is unsightly, or a viral something. What is a viral?
The second part is
Could be
change
measles.
one letter for viral growths that are unsightly.
Growths.
Growth. A
Oh,
growth.
so
Not
should
like measles, which is just a
Shingle
pox.
is unsightly
Pox and
virus.
fox.
What?
It's like chicken pox and fox. Is there, it's that kind of thing, Was the
Pax,
pianist
Pox,
named
yeah,
Fox? I don't know.
Pax. Someone's name is Pax. You can get pox.
Right. Right. Doesn't have to be that. I was just thinking.
Well,
I mean, you're both on the right track in terms of how the game works. But
yeah,
Yeah.
we know how the game works very well. The only problem is we don't know how
Viral growth that's unsightly. of viral growth.
Unsightly viral growth would be, like I said, a boil is a really good one because you can have a B-O-Y, but I don't know of anyone B-O-Y-L who really was a pianist. I'm not sure, but okay, that's going to be my guess. Boil and boil. Okay, that's it.
And boy, B-O-I-L and boy. Final answer?
B-O-Y-L, yeah.
Well, even though it's boiling hot in so many parts of the country, I'm afraid. Well, in Canada, apparently, you're very lucky. It's nice, except thanks for all the smoke, but that is not the correct answer. So, Vicki.
I'm just going to say pox and fox. I have no idea. I'll say pox and fox.
Pox and fox. I'm afraid that is not the correct
That's not true. What is the correct answer?
Germany. I'm sorry, what was that, Moshe?
You're going to get all the points. Dave is getting all the points today.
I know, right? Well, here's the deal. Germany kind of throws you off because he's really thought of more as American. He just happened to be like an army
Born in
brat.
Germany. Probably an army brat.
But he was,
Who knows?
I can tell you as a hint that he was African American.
Oh, a sprightly African American. Hold on. Who passed away who was a pianist this week? I would, if he was a jazz man or something like that. I mean, Hancock is still alive. What's going on here? Dave, you're going to have to tell us
I'll
because
have to tell
we
you.
are just very slow because of the weather. It's the weather.
It's the weather. No, at age 77, I check these things, but at age 77, passing away of cancer this week was the great Andre Watts, who died. And what are viral growths that you get that are one-letter?
Warts.
Huh?
Warts.
Warts. Watts and warts was the answer to the question.
It's a little bit abstruse there, Left
Okay,
with.
Watts is abstruse?
You know what? I didn't know of this pianist. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, he was very popular. Leonard Bernstein kind of plucked him and put him on TV a lot and really made
So, what's his first name?
Andre Watts.
Oh, Andre Watts.
Andre Watts.
Watts.
Yeah. And change one.
Know of him, Vicki?
I had no idea. None.
Well,
So
there you go.
technically,
Otherwise, I would have gotten it.
I'm a musician. I haven't heard of him.
I knew actor.
Maybe I've
I
heard
knew
his music.
actor. I had one decent answer, and I did bump into the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, you really nailed that one,
That's a
Vicki.
good one.
All right, let's do our final, our tiebreaker question. Kathryn actually won the
One.
The quiz.
game today.
I looked at her face and thought that poor girl wants to go.
Yeah, probably
Oh,
Let her
read
go.
it right. You read it right.
because she logged on at like
I
10
wanted
after
to go
9.
further. I wanted to go.
Yeah. What was that, Moshe?
Her husband even wanted to go more than she did.
Yeah.
Is it husband?
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
Okay.
So here we go. So anyway, this is our tiebreaker question. It doesn't mean anything, but let's do it. Write them both down so you can hold them up to the.
Just a second, then I have to write it down. Hold. Oh, I need my pen and paper. It'll take me. You can
Yeah.
continue to talk.
Go
I
on,
can
hurry
wait.
up. Go.
Vicki, while you're doing that, Vicki, what shows are you doing this weekend?
Tonight is Late Night Catechism, and I'm doing my game show tomorrow. Are You Smarter Than Your Eighth Grade Nun?
At the greenhouse. Was there
At the greenhouse. Yeah, this weekend at the greenhouse. Yeah, I don't travel again until August. I'm sending you the info. I'm going to be in the Baltimore area.
Oh, cool. Oh, excellent. Yay. Now, Moshe, you've got your pen, you've got your paper?
I got paper and pen. Yeah.
Here we go. All right. This is a fill in the blank. You're going to write out the answer. Full name, please. The year was 2008. Born today
Wow.
in Georgia is young actor Ian Armitage, the son of Scottish-born Broadway actor Ewan Morton. The boy first gained prominence for his YouTube videos, where he reviewed Broadway shows. By 2017, he was tapped for the lead, not on stage, but for what CBS TV series?
So this is a kid who's born in 2008.
Born in
Yeah.
2008.
2008 in
2000, July 5th, in Georgia. Born in Georgia. Young actor Ian Armitage. The son of Scottish-born Broadway actor Ewan Morton. The boy first gained prominence for his YouTube videos where he reviewed Broadway shows. By 2017, he was tapped for the lead, not on stage, but for what CBS TV series.
When he was 9 years old.
That's right. I was thinking the same. 9 years old.
Yes, 9 years
TV
old.
series he was tapped for. He's doing reviews. How about
Wait. Did you say he was? Did he actually get on the show, or was he? Didn't you say something? He was tapped
He was chosen and accepted.
and accepted
Yeah, for the lead.
for the lead. Oh, a lead on a CBS show in 2017.
Correct.
If only I watched a lot of TV, I would probably know this. The lead.
so then we have to
CBS.
the name of the series, right? The name
Correct.
of the show, Dave,
Correct.
okay?
Oh boy,
Would that
not
be?
Wonder Years.
No, it's earlier than that. The Wonder Years.
No. They
Oh, they did a reboot. Uh-huh.
did reboot. And that's a good show, actually. That's one of the reboots, or I don't even think you call it a reboot. It's a reimagining. It's bringing it back.
We're supposed to write this down, but Vicki, you're giving me all your thinking process here.
Well, you can, but just don't.
Which is real small. Really?
You have small thoughts. Small thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, what the lead in 2017 when he was 9 years old.
The Wonder Years is a very good guess, in my opinion. It's really a good one.
Oh, you know what? I think I know. Let's see. I'm going to say.
Just write it, don't say it.
Yeah.
I love these moments of silence.
Yeah.
Dave, you have us flummoxed.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna kick yourselves though, because that's the beautiful thing. You're gonna if you don't get it, you're gonna hear the answer like, oh my God.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to get the name of the series. I think I know who he plays. At least I think I do. I'm trying to think of the name of the series. Okay.
I am gonna ask you to write something down. If it's not the name of the series, then put down Simus or put down
Right.
nunsforfun.com or
Right.
Okay.
you guys are ready, and I'll read the question one more time and then give a 3, 2, 1 countdown to show the answer. So you guys just about ready?
Yep.
Sure.
All right, here we go. The year was 2008. Born today in Georgia is young actor Ian Armitage. The son of Scottish-born Broadway actor Ewan Morton, the boy first gained prominence for his YouTube videos where he reviewed Broadway shows. By 2017, he was tapped for the lead, not on stage, but for what CBS TV series? 3, 2, 1.
I said he plays Sheldon Cooper, the young Sheldon Cooper.
And what is the name of the TV series?
I know, that's what I could. The young Sheldon Cooper, the young something young. I forget. What is it?
Vicki, it's like
It's young Sheldon. Sheldon.
just young Sheldon. Yeah.
Good for you.
Young
right.
Sheldon. Well, I mean, yeah, you had it. Yeah.
Read this, or is it opposite?
Oh, good. No, we can see that. Excellent.
Yeah, no, it
Simus.net.
perfectly. Simus.net is
.net.
a place where you can find out about Moshe Denburg's music, his albums, the new stuff that he's working on, his YouTube videos that he's been putting out with some of his older and newer music. So Mazel Tov on that, Moshe.
I really did not do well today.
Yeah.
You were fine. You were fine. You're breathing in too much of that smoke.
Exactly.
By the way, that series, Young Sheldon, is actually very good.
I didn't see it.
It's
I
really,
I
it's
don't
very well done.
series these days. I watch a lot of news. I watch a lot of sports. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
but you can go on. Actually, you can go on TikTok. You can go on YouTube. You can see clips if you don't want to watch the full thing.
What is it about, Vicki? What is it
It's
about?
about this genius boy who is born in Texas, to a family that he does not really fit into, but in many ways does. And he's just charming. It's really, everyone on that series does an excellent job, and that the actor, this Ian Armitage, does a terrific job.
Well,
And it's going to be interesting because his voice is going
now.
to get puberty.
He was born in 2008, so he'd be
He's 15.
15 years old already.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're tying his genitals down or what they have to do, but in a year or two, he's going to be a real teenager if he isn't already.
Oh no, he is already.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you see him, yeah, he's not a boy, a little kid any longer.
That guy from Order had a horrible life.
Yes, he did.
He
Yeah.
was an epileptic. He had all sorts of. He had a horrible life.
Yes, he did.
What are you talking about?
Well, we're back
epilepsy?
to a different Ian Curtis,
Oh, Ian Curtis, of
who
course.
who
killed
was in
himself.
Joy Division before
Yep,
they
Yeah.
turned to New Order without him. But anyway, the New Order business is to thank so much our guests in the Daverhood, our great friends, Moshe Denburg. Go to tsimis.net for his music. Our thanks, of course, to our beloved Vicki Quade, whom you can see in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater in both Late Night Catechism tonight and then Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun tomorrow. So mazel tov and thank you to both of you. Have a wonderful.
Thank you, Dave. It's wonderful to be with you. Vicky, it's great to see you again. You take
And
care
both
of
of you
yourselves.
wave as you go off to the gym and put your chickens in the oven.
Is that
Don't-
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great one, Vicky. Thanks, and also for those photos. Bye-bye.
I think, David, I'm gonna have to also eat simultaneously because if I don't eat before I get my hair cut,
Yeah, go grab some food.
I'll make it. I'll bring it and make it up here. I'll make it quick.
Yeah. Well, I've got other
It'll
stuff
take me
to
like
do.
a minute. Yeah.
So anyway, my hair keeps going whoop. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my wonderful wife, Joyce. You're watching Dave's Gone By. The mix of humor and talk and music, well, not music anymore, but interviews, culture. We've been doing it since 2002, and we're still doing it. The 903rd episode of the show. We are calling it Great Scott for the great fun that we had with Kathryn Leigh Scott, and also we're happy to be joined by her boyfriend, Pat, so yay. And what else do we have to do on this episode of the show? Well, we've got our Greeley Crimes and Old Times segment where, based on stories that are in the Greeley Tribune newspaper, an actual real-life newspaper from Greeley, Colorado, where Joyce and I used to live for more than a decade. And so there were two great columns in the paper every week that were based on real things. And one of them is called Cop Log, which has to do with phone calls that came into the local police department from people. And sometimes, of course, the police get really scary phone calls of someone's been shot, someone's dying, this is happening. But other times, people are calling, they themselves are probably a little under the influence, or they're watching weird things happening in their neighborhood. The funniest calls are then collected by the local paper because it's public information. They strip the identifiers out, and then they put them once a week in a column called Cop Log, Greeley Cop Log. And big thanks to Mackenzie Morgan for taking care of that. And then there's also another column that they had been running for years called 100 Years Ago. And these were items that were in the Greeley Tribune newspaper in 1923, literally 100 years ago, that our friend of the Daverhood, Mike Peters, was collating and collecting. And he would find the cutest, funniest, most nostalgic ones and get them ready for a column in our modern paper every week. So, well, the bad news so far is that there hasn't been a new 100 years ago in 3 or 4 months. I'm just like distraught. I'm sorry. For a couple of months, Cop Log went away. And it turned out to be it was this glitch between getting the information from the police department and having it properly scanned and put into the system at the Trib. But finally they worked it out, and Cop Log is back and better than ever. But just after that resolved itself, 100 years ago, disappeared. And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on over there with Mike Peters, our friend? I tried to contact him, and I tried to contact the paper. And interestingly enough, Mike has 2 different columns that he does for the Trib. There's another one that he writes once or twice a week called The Gnarly Trombone, which makes no sense to anybody until you realize that people, when he would tell people that he worked for the Greeley Tribune, if they misheard him or they read it wrong, it sounded sort of like The Gnarly Trombone. And it was kind of the comic, repurposing of the title of the paper. So he's doing this column. It's kind of like an art book Waldy, Dave Barry, gentle, nostalgic humor, stuff on his mind column once or twice a week for years. And then I noticed, like along with 100 years ago, Gnarly Trombone disappeared from the pages of the paper over the past couple of months. And then last week I saw, at least Gnarly Trombone was back. 100 years ago hasn't come back, but Gnarly Trombone was back. So my first initial gut feeling that Mike Peters, he's an old man, was no longer with it. I was like, oh no. And then I saw, wait, there's a new Gnarly Trombone. And then I looked closer this week because 100 years ago has not come back. And I noticed that the Gnarly Trombone was actually written by his daughter. And I got this real sinking feeling of like, oh, remembering Dad is like what the column was about. I'm like, oh, no. But the weird thing was she basically wrote it. They gave her a guest column to do this piece about how wonderful her father, Mike Peters, is. But he's not dead. It just was like a post-Father's Day recollection and memory of her father for the paper, because he's been her dad forever, and she's in her 40s, and he's been doing these columns forever. And she said somewhere in the column that even though he's not been in the paper the past few weeks, this is not an obituary or anything. It's just he's been taking this break. Now I do get a sort of a sinking feeling that when he does something for that long, it may be, and this is just total supposition, something's going on. Something medical. It isn't just a vacay. I hope that's not true. I hope he just needed some time away from having to grind out a column or several columns week after week after week. I hope he comes back for both of those columns to the Trib. If he doesn't, for whatever reason, he's certainly done us great service. And done us great service for the show because we get so much comedy and joy from 100 years ago. And he was the one doing Coplog for many, many years until some other people took it over. So anyway, a big shout out to the still alive and hopefully well Mike Peters, even though, long way of saying, Coplog is still, and we're just going to have one item. I mean, Coplog is fine. We're still going to have just one item from 100 years ago on this particular segment that we do, which is called Greeley Crimes. No, sorry. In my ear there, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Yes, Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on the Dave's Gone By. Facebookio, podcastio, programmio of the stream.
I spilled
We're live on.
soap suds. I know I spilled soap suds all over myself.
Oh, hello.
I know you're live. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, no, I was telling them we're live.
Okay.
But
We're live on. Oh, we got a show going on.
and I was going to say we were live on this July 15th, 2023. And what happened? Did you wipe it off or change your shirt?
I wasn't wearing a shirt before.
I know. I know. Yeah, I saw the soap suds all over it. I'm like.
You didn't see it? Did you see them?
No, of course not. No.
You told me.
When did you do it? I couldn't have seen it. You were downstairs making food. Anyway, just in time, because we're just about to start our Greeley Crimes and Old Times with a crime.
Wait, are you on the air?
Yeah. So here's the deal. A caller on Thursday. Don't worry about the noises. Just eat.
No, I can't do it.
Um.
Otherwise, you'll be mad.
Yeah. Yeah, the battery's going on that one too. Or it could be the heat. A caller on 13th Avenue reported a man walking around the apartment complex with a shower rod and looking over vehicles. So, I don't know, are they spraying that much oil?
I think you're looking for his pet snake.
That could be. That could happen. Herbert, yeah, could have been. Also, remember, these are true things that actually people phoned into the police department to warn the cops were happening.
Wait, are you live?
I always say that. We're live on this Saturday, July 15th, 2020. I always say we're live on this July 15th because it very often isn't July 15th. But I will say we're live.
Why was your guest on for 2 hours?
She wasn't, but they logged in early.
Oh.
And then the conversation was half an hour. And then sometimes the even though I cut the quiz down to 7 questions, sometimes it just takes and takes and takes and takes.
Well, Moshe had the problem, right?
Well, yeah, we had the technical problems too. So, and I'm always wondering, how the hell do 7 questions take more than an hour to get through? How? How's that possible? When they do 50 or 60 questions on Jeopardy in about 24 minutes,
That's true.
I still don't, time expands and contracts. Anyway, a caller on 9th Avenue reported a dead body under a bridge. Turned out, what do you think it really was?
A mannequin?
You're on the right track. You are very on the right track.
A barrel?
No, stick with mannequin. But what kind?
A blow-up doll.
Yes, it's a blow-up sex doll. Floating under a bridge.
Why?
Under the bridge, I raped the mannequin. Why?
Where was it?
Greeley, 9th Avenue. And I don't know what street, I don't know where there would be. I keep thinking of something like water under, but it might not be a water kind of a bridge. With a sex doll floating there like.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's why we call this Greeley Crimes and Old
I
Times.
bet the person who called in did it.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's one of those pranks, where they do it and then they call.
Oh, and they want to be, that's interesting. That could be. This is sad. A caller on 21st Street
Hold on. Can you hear
wanted,
it?
sorry.
You can hear it, right?
Oh, yeah. Wanted these removed from the open space behind her home.
What?
What do you think these were?
Marmots.
Prairie dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie dogs, which I loved. And she wanted because they're making all these holes and things, she wanted them removed.
Well, they're bad for horses and cows.
They are, but maybe there weren't horses and cows there. Just holes and marmot guano.
Maybe you could work with her to make some kind of prairie dog sanctuary.
Like, we have a pretty decent sized backyard here now.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing is we get deer. We don't want them to fall and break their deer legs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can understand the dilemma, right?
I can understand the dilemma. But still, if I have all these cute little marmots to look at, peeping and peeping all night long, keeping me awake, wouldn't that be the most lovely thing? A man, now this is unrelated to the doll under the bridge, presumably. A man on 10th Street, well, he had asked this question. He asked the police if it was illegal
Oh no, that's never a good story.
to have intercourse in the backyard. Yeah.
What? With himself?
Well, my first question is, what kind, with what, with whom, when? I don't know, if you're in your yard.
I think but if you can't, people can't see you.
Right, is it public indecency
Yeah.
if you've got coverage?
If nobody can see you, but if it's like an open yard.
Right. But the problem is, let's say you have an office building there and they can, look down as opposed to, neighbors on the same level where they really can't see anything. I don't know.
On YouTube.
Yeah, I honestly, some kid on a diving board at the local pool. Well, if they're in the water,
Yeah.
no problem. But if they're literally standing on the diving board about to jump, and suddenly like, oh,
You just have to get water.
Yeah. It becomes interesting. So, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Let's have another criminal item here on Dave's Gone By. A caller on 50th Avenue said that a man wearing a military green, and he was also wearing night vision goggles, was carrying a firearm around the park. I would call the cops on that one. That one, it's like any one of those, maybe kind of let him be. Because some people, you're allowed, you have a carry, whatever, a permit. Military green, a lot of people see that as a fashion statement. They'll wear khaki, they'll wear the things from
What
the Army,
happened?
Navy.
Tell me it missed the.
So man doing three things. Military green,
Uh-huh.
wearing night vision goggles,
During the day?
which is probably the creepiest thing.
At night?
This was at 7:30 in the evening.
So is
it'd been
it
light out.
dark enough to wear,
Yeah.
like, I think night vision goggles you're supposed to wear when it's, like, dark.
Oh, so he wearing pretty early, 7:30 this time of year,
What
like
was he doing?
3 weeks ago, and he was carrying a firearm.
Mm.
So I think the three together is a little too Rambo-esque.
Unless it's hunting season and they're in a designated hunting area.
Well, this is 50th Avenue. I don't think there's.
Fifth Avenue?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Is there a forest up there?
Could be. I don't remember it well enough. It was always between us and the vet. It was one of those avenues that was like, because we were up 20th Street and we hit like 60-something Avenue for the vet. So I don't really.
Were they filming Rambo?
That could be. The sequel. I don't know.
Or
Don't-
with Schwarzenegger, we saw the documentary. Maybe he's doing a play, a show.
Here we go. A woman on 4th Avenue said,
It's back working.
oh yay. This woman said that a neighbor told her,
Oh no.
The
When anybody
water-
tells you somebody told me, that's never good.
well, but is it psychological or is it an explanation?
Okay.
A neighbor told her the water line
Yeah.
contained a lot of methane. And she said the water in Greeley caused her to have slurred speech.
Could happen.
And I'm wondering, really, could
Some
it?
people are not methane, but maybe she's sensitive to. Maybe someone was putting something in. I watched a lot of Agatha Christie.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
somebody was putting something in her water in her home.
You know what I would love? I would love to sell like Dave's fart water. Just hold up regular water. We have downstairs the Soda Stream, right? You press the thing, it goes.
Yeah, but that's not fart. That's.
What is? Well, that's carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide getting the bubbles in there. Instead of that, you hold the bottle to my buttocks or between my buttocks, and I let out one good, not liquid.
I'm not doing any of that. I'm sorry. I can't do any of that.
You wouldn't drink my methane water?
No, I don't want to drink meth. Why would you? Because you probably. Keep getting a reminder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah,
alone.
sure. Yeah. Well, let's finish up really quick.
No, we have time. But
Yeah.
I would not want to drink anything that has poo-poo in it. And if you're putting your tushy, above something and pooping in it, you're
Yeah.
probably also leaving a little.
Maybe not. Remember we were watching yesterday, or a day ago, QI, the British TV series, and they gave the lie to that thing that we all heard growing up, that if you leave a toothbrush out in your
Yeah, but
bathroom.
you still get poo-poo in it, but it's
No.
not bad enough to kill you.
Oh, all right.
That's what they said. You didn't listen.
Well, all right, listen closely. So you might get some bacteria, but they're not going to hurt you.
They could hurt some
So
people,
even
but
if
it's
you-
not bad enough to ban.
Because I always warn you, don't leave your toothbrushes out. Don't leave them uncovered, because if the toilet's open, it comes out of it and it lands and it can make you sick and give you cholesterium and whatever. And that's not a word, is it? But
E. coli, honey.
E. coli, right?
Yeah, that's
So
from your poo-poo.
and then they said, if anything comes up, it's so minimal, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to bother your tooth. So what makes you think if you were to hold a bottle of water to my ass and I were to break
No.
wind into it,
No.
I might create both bubbles and a methane flavor. And we could label it like whatever I had for lunch and dinner that day.
No.
And the water
I
would
don't
have
want
that.
any part of this.
You wouldn't have, no?
No. No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Well, anyway, let's do one old time thing.
Okay.
We have one
Okay.
old time for this week. Old times means this was in the paper from 100 years ago in the Greeley Tribune. Now available in Greeley is Columbine evaporated pure milk. It comes in 24 beautiful colors.
What?
That's the part that got me. It comes in 24 beautiful
What
colors.
is it called, the name?
Columbine evaporated pure.
Columbine evaporated pure milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they mean the jars, the bottles, the cans.
I don't know.
Because the idea of milk coming in any other color really than sort of pale off-white is really more disgusting to me than farting into a bottle of water and creating methane water, which I will do for a price. My idea. I get 10%.
I don't know what that is.
Color, I mean, we're talking about 1923 here.
They have pictures.
Oh, really? Are they all different colors?
No, it's just a picture of the same. It's just a picture of like a packet of milk.
And here's what I don't understand also. Why isn't evaporated milk invisible?
I don't get it.
Like, if it evaporated, it shouldn't be there anymore, right? So it should be just an open bottle
Why would
and
they
air.
make milk in multiple colors?
I don't know. I do not know. I mean, understand, like potato chips will change the color of the bag. They'll do this. They'll have a little fun of the bag. But the way they phrased it, they make it sound like the milk itself comes in multiple colors. And I do not want to see those cows. I don't know. I mean, this was before Monsanto. I don't know what they're doing. What they're feeding those
I
cows.
think they're putting food coloring. That would be they get the milk and then they're food coloring it. But
Like the Oreos.
So maybe they want it so the kids will drink it, and so they're making it different colors. And the kids
Orange
like it.
milk. Who doesn't want
Yeah,
this?
but we heard about them putting orange in margarine or something. Remember Vicki and them? They had to mix orange in their margarine and.
Well, the orange color of the margarine that we don't really use margarine. But when I grew up, we had margarine.
It was orange?
Yeah, yellowish. Well, yellow. Weird. It wasn't like the actual yellow.
So what is margarine made of? Hold on.
In modern times?
What is margarine made of?
Vegetable shortening.
According to Healthline, margarine is a butter substitute typically made by combining water and vegetable oils, such as soybean, corn, palm, canola, or olive oils.
And they had salt, colorings, natural and artificial flavors.
Yeah. But back in the day, they were, this guy, that Moshe, was experimenting with all different things, making fat lipids. It was certainly not kosher. He was doing things with cow fat.
Look, Vicki was right. It's illegal for Wisconsin state prisons to serve margarine.
Wow. Huh. I think that's just a smear campaign.
I would think margarine would be illegal. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I can't believe it's
why
not
is margarine
untrue.
no longer called margarine?
It isn't?
And said there was a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Now it's called spread.
I don't know. If I were in prison and I heard the phrase, "Do you want spread?"
No spread's illegal in prison.
Yeah, thank goodness. I think maybe that is why. That sounds like a very good reason why you and I have more. Yeah. All right, let's have.
Because I'm going to have to go in probably like 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's do it because I got one more elsewhere.
Okay.
And this makes me so happy. And we've already been alluding to this. This was in the New York Post.
Is it the syphilis tsunami?
It's not. We talked about that. That was
okay.
And who knew? And I love the serendipity of this show because the answer, it wasn't the right, but in the quiz we had a question about syphilis that I wrote 3 days before we even saw the syphilis thing. So today's secret word is syphilis. That'd be great if you bet your life Groucho Marx had to do that word one time.
Syphilis?
Yeah. Yeah,
but it's important to know, like, if you have any bad things going on, in your downstairs areas, you need to fix it.
But I just love the idea of, like, Groucho Marx trying to goad a contestant into somehow using the word syphilis in a sentence. Accidentally, without knowing it.
I wonder if they could say stuff like that years ago. Maybe their standards were different,
Maybe. But this was this week.
Mm-hmm.
As published by the New York Post on their page 6, which is generally for like celebrity gossip and things, and like out on the town New York. Here's the writing, and it's quite fun. The writer had fun time writing this. Camelot, it ain't.
Uh-oh.
Page 6 regrets to report that a press dinner to boost Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign devolved into a foul bout of screaming and more on Tuesday night. Now, RFK Jr., he's a little
the Kennedys, but the Kennedy name, right?
Yeah, he's a Kennedy for sure, except his policies are like
Different,
all over
yeah.
the place. The White House hopeful attended the affair at Tony's on the Upper West Side, Upper East Side.
What
Excuse
is
me.
it, like a
Upper East
steak
Side.
place?
Yeah, like a semi-fancy restaurant place. He wanted to impress on his attendees,
Mm-hmm.
or the attendees, his worthiness to sit at the same Oval Office desk
As
once
the-
occupied by his late uncle.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah. But
Maybe.
a shouting match over climate change
What?
broke out between two boisterous old men, sending the evening down an extremely
I love
unfortunate
it.
path.
I love it.
Now remember, RFK is not he's there. It's a thing for him, but there's two old guys who get into it
I love it.
at the thing. Here we go.
I love it.
There's more. The exchange, to which page 6 bore reluctant witness, began after a guest asked Kennedy, the candidate, founder of ecological organization Waterkeeper Alliance,
Yeah.
about the environment. This mere inquiry alone was enough to set off apparently drunk gossip columnist turned PR flack Doug Deshert.
Who's that? Yeah.
Well, he was the host of the event. So he
Oh,
was
no, God! The host should not be drinking.
at all. No.
I mean, I don't know a lot about these things, but I would think that's. I'm just tracking my food.
And he was drunk off his ass. But he was also hosting. He wanted
He was
RFK for
convivial.
president.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was supportive and convivial, I guess. And
Well, anyway,
yeah.
this guy, this Doug Deshert, became enraged at the question and screamed at the top of his lungs, "The climate hoax!"
During the dinner.
Yeah, during the
Okay.
Q&A thing.
Okay.
Meanwhile, octogenarian art critic Anthony Hayden Guest, who had been sleeping happily through the dinner,
Oh, I like that. I'd sleep through a dinner too.
well, he was roused by the rumpus.
The yelling, of course.
He opened his eyes and denounced his longtime pal Deshert, calling him, quote, a miserable blob.
Those are fighting words.
I love it, miserable blob. Deshert continued to scream, while Hayden Guest shouted at him, "Shut up!" Quote, "You're insignificant and fucking insane,"
Oh, God.
unquote. RFK Jr. watched calmly as things devolved even
That's
further.
horrible.
This is.
That's
I swear to you.
horrible.
I swear to you. Deshert then let out a loud, prolonged fart
Oh,
while yelling, as if to underscore his point. I'm farting!
Is this on video?
Only in New York. Oh, I hope someone had a cell phone. Oh, I wonder.
I'm sure everything is video. Like, you know,
Oh,
do you ever have like a moment where you're like, God, I hope nobody's videotaping me? Like, you know, I'm sure like if you're not yourself and you're intoxicated or under some influence and you do things, you don't want people to.
no. But we were walking into the museum yesterday, into the
Oh,
Baltimore
yeah.
Museum of Art.
And the poor woman.
And behind us, I mean, it almost sounded like a joke machine.
Oh no, that was real. Yeah.
A woman very loudly farted. And I mean like,
It was a young girl.
oh, was it a young girl? A young girl
Yes.
farted.
Yeah, it was a young girl.
And I didn't even laugh.
It was a young girl and she had something wrapped on her ankle.
I'm sure she did. It was trying to hold the air into her
Maybe
leg.
that's what hurt her. She was in pain.
What? Did pain make you fart?
I don't know.
So let me finish because I know you gotta go. But we have a little bit more of this amazing story. So literally, he goes, "I'm farting."
Well, God bless him. I mean, you know, own it. At least
He
he owned it.
owned it.
I respect
He
people
owned it
who-
and shared it.
But I respect people who don't try to lie. Like, you know.
The room, which included journalists as well as RFK Jr.'s campaign manager, Dennis Kucinich, was stunned. They could not tell whether Deshert was farting at Hayden Guest personally or at the very notion of global warming.
Or well, he's, you know, maybe he just ate too much, you know, what, you know.
And this is cute. This is the writer going. By the way, page 6 confirms that climate change definitely around the table.
Oh.
When another guest approached RFK Jr., to change the subject and say
Yes.
how much she admired his late Attorney General dad.
That's great. Change the topic. I mean, get off the, you know.
Dayshert and Hayden Guest ignored her and continued.
I love it. Some people can't give up an
Oh,
argument.
I love. The next day,
Yeah.
Dayshert, feeling sort of remorseful, and who did pay for this evening that he was hosting, right?
Yeah,
He-
but I'm sorry, like, you
No,
ruin
okay.
people's night. Like, people go there, I don't know, people go to a dinner to have good food. These are probably donors. I don't
Yeah.
know how it works, but I assume they don't want to see a yelling, farting match. Like, nobody would, you know.
I would pay for that.
Yeah.
But he told Page Six, quote,
Oh, no.
I apologize for using my flatulence as a medium of public commentary in your presence. It's really a medium of dysentery, if you think. In that same conversation, he asked Page Six to refer to him as either, quote, a gallivanting boulevardier or, quote, a beer-fueled sex rocket.
This man needs
This is why these are the people who have millions.
Oh, my Lord.
These are the 1%, you know?
I don't know. I know that the aristocracy in England, there was a lot of intermarriage, maybe.
And finally, despite the sparring, he and Hayden Guest, they've actually been friends for many years.
Oh, yeah. Some
I mean,
people,
not
yeah.
close, but
No,
friends,
but
like,
some people have that where they, you know, they just yell at each other and then they're okay with it. I mean, maybe that's just their dysfunctional relationship.
but Dayshert wasn't kidding about feeling climate change is a hoax,
Yeah, but
unfortunately.
also, like, you don't fart at your friend. I mean, that's, like, rude. And then tell them to fart.
I'm farting!
I mean, that's like
And Hayden Guest was reached for comment. He said, in all seriousness, global warming is, quote, a life or death issue for the planet,
Yes.
and to deny it is ridiculous. And then he shot himself.
God, David, that's
No, I made up that. No, that last part.
David, I'm gonna have to
Yeah, you
look
gotta
at
go.
it.
So,
I can't leave my phone. You have the pictures, or we'll talk about it next
well, then
week.
next week. Next week, I've got Colorado,
Where's your
Limerick.
phone?
Probably in the other.
I don't
room.
see it because I want to make
Oh.
sure so you can call me.
Oh yeah.
And so I can call
Please
you.
check
Yeah. Where
by
are
the
you?
bedstand. Please check my office
Oh, nice.
or my pants. It may be on my desk in my office, as opposed to my orifice, which the less said about the better. But no, so ladies, let me do one more to finish up the segment. One more bit of criminality from the past couple of weeks that were in the Greeley Tribune. One last one.
Sweetheart, I'm gonna plug it in.
You found it?
Yeah, I'm
Excellent.
gonna-
Yeah.
So I can plug it in here for you, okay?
Please, 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 please do.
This is from the other room. I just brought it in here.
Yeah, gracias. Was everything okay
I'm
with my
making sure
phone?
it's charging it here.
Yeah. Oh, thank
So
you
I'll
so
put it
much.
here, sweetheart.
All right. Joyce is going to get her hair cut. She's not going to the gym. She's going to her hair cut. And then,
I didn't
oh,
know-
did you
oh,
put the
I
chicken in the oven?
I don't eat meat, honey. I'm sorry.
One more piece of criminality. A caller on 8th Avenue said an intoxicated man was looking into the window of the restaurant's indoor playground. He was screaming and his pants kept falling down. And yet it was not Dayshert.
I was gonna say. He's like, wait a second.
Oh, Pooey just loves these stories. Ladies and gentlemen, that, on this July 15th, 2023, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
No, he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-hi.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi, yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh, my friends, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Dave's Gone By show. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. If you want to write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com is the way to do that. DAVESGONEBY. davesgoneby@aol.com. You can also, of course, send me messages or post right here on the Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. And, you know, I read everything you guys send. I don't necessarily have the opportunity to answer, but I'm absolutely grateful for everything from the little thumbs up and the okay thing and the friend requests, which I can't often grant because I'm kind of backed up with 5,000 friends. But keep sending them. At some point, you know, people leave and die and so forth, and there'll be some room. Davesgoneby@aol.com. Also, please check our Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. It's Radio Dave and the number 2 to catch our Twitter feed, which is mainly kind of like our Facebook post. I don't have really time or the wherewithal all week to post all these different things and put up zany stuff and retweet things. Mainly, it's letting you know what's going to be on upcoming shows. And so, very happy that on this show today, we've had such wonderful people like Moshe Denburg, who makes a lot of music, sometimes in a very klezmery vein, and sometimes in a more modern Jewishy vein, and sometimes in just more jazzy, classical New Age vein. You can hear a lot of it at Tzimis.org, Tzimes, or no, it was net. I think it was Tzimis. Something. Look it up. But thank you to Moshe Denburg, our friend of the Daverhood. Thank you, of course, to Vicki Quade, who does Late Night Catechism and other shows at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. So go see them. And she also is traveling and she's booking things for August and beyond to go outside her locus of control of the Greenhouse in Chicago and is playing other places all along the middle of the country and elsewhere. And big welcome and thank you to our new friend of the Daverhood, Kathryn Leigh Scott, and to her beau, her boyfriend, Pat, too. I forget whether it was O'Malley or O'Connell, something Irish, forgive me. I don't remember his name, but he was a good sport for sticking around and playing some of the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz, and Kathryn, a really good sport, talking to Rabbi Saul and then playing the quiz, and go see her. She is going to be August 25th through the 27th at the Mad Monster Expo in Concord, North Carolina, madmonster.com for tickets. So if you're a Dark Shadows fan, you want to buy her books, have her sign her books, meet her in person. She's obviously the woman is in her 80s and she looks like she just turned 60. It's amazing. And behaves like it too. So definitely. And check out her own website, KathrynLeighScott.com, for her many books. So grateful to have people like that in the Daverhood. We're also kind of grateful to have Rabbi Saul Solomon in the Daverhood. He is, of course, the founder of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Find out more about him at shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. You can read and hear and sometimes watch his rabbinical reflections there. They're mini sermons of about 5 to 7 minutes each. And you can watch the TV show that he did for Long Island Cable TV back in, a decade or so ago. They're really funny. And his great stage show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, taped at the Richmond Shepherd Theater a bit more than a decade ago. And it's all there. You can watch it and enjoy it. It's all there at shalomdammit.com with links. A lot of it is on YouTube, but the links are to the YouTube videos of Rabbi Saul. Now, these are all people who have been on the program today, July 15th. But there have been folks who've been on Dave's Gone By last week, a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And we like to keep tabs on them and kind of let you know, hey, what are they up to? Well, these are our friends of the Daverhood. Okay, so, friends of the Daverhood, it's like, hey, so-and-so was on this program back in the day. They're still acting, they're still writing, they're still making music. What are they up to now? So, for example, I want to give a big congratulations to James Shapiro. He is a Shakespeare scholar and educator at Columbia University, and his June interview with theater director Kenny Leon is in the Atlantic Monthly magazine. And you can read about it. It's all about, because Leon is directing Hamlet for Shakespeare in the Park, the Public Theater New York Shakespeare Festival in New York this summer. So James Shapiro sat down to do an interview with Kenny Leon, because they're both right now, of course, experts about Macbeth. So you want to check that out. And Shapiro's just, if you get to see the TV show, he hosted a series about Shakespeare. just a brilliant guy, but also very down to earth to listen to. And check out, of course, our interview with him a couple of years ago on Dave's Gone By. I want to let you know that Steve Ross, and this is happening, this happened yesterday. Well, he and Karen Akers did a Bastille Day show at Pangea, but I'm sorry, that was last night. But tonight, or is it, no, the 18th, gotta get better glasses, the 18th of July, first of all, Eddie Brill is doing a comedy workshop at Sticks and Stones Comedy in Southampton, New York. You want to check that out on the 18th. So is it 15th? I think it's Tuesday night then. Tuesday also, the movie, finally, the movie Joke Man, about Jackie the Joke Man Martling. It's a bio of this great comedian, has finally been released. You can buy it, online in places that you buy videos. And we've been trying to get Jackie on again over the past couple of years. We're hoping that will happen, especially in conjunction with the release of his movie. But congrats to Jackie Martling. The bio movie has come out. And I mentioned Eddie Brill a moment ago that on Tuesday, he'll be in Southampton. He's there the next night with Sticks and Stones Comedy, joined by his own son, who's also a stand-up comedian. So check out Eddie Brill on the 18th and the 19th in the Sticks and Stones Comedy Club in Southampton, New York. On the 19th, also on Wednesday, Jane Siberry will be giving a Zoom update of her latest album project. It's $20, but she'll play tracks from it in their current form. She'll talk about it, maybe take like Zoom questions and things. You can get tickets to this at magic-thedog-.com. Is it a hyphen or a dash? It's magic for the dog.com for Jane Siberry, Siberry. Brilliant singer-songwriter. Running from Wednesday through the weekend, Lucy Arnaz. Our great friend Lucy Arnaz is at 54 Below. I'm right in the middle of, it's just funny how serendipitous these things are. I'm literally in the middle of making slides for my fall course that I'll be teaching about film history and media history. So I'm just at the point last night of doing the slides that, thank God, I inherited from the chair of the department who's letting me use all his work. And we're at the point where TV comes into the picture in the 1950s. And so to show examples of television and what it was like in 3-camera setup and all that, we're showing a Twilight Zone, and we're also showing an I Love Lucy. Not the grape stompy one, but the chocolate one. So it's just funny that literally last night, and here we are this next morning, I'm letting you know that her daughter, who's been on this show, Lucy Arnaz, will be doing a few nights at 54 Below this coming week. Gary Morgenstein's play A Black and White Cookie is being done in Los Angeles at the 905 Theater. That is running from the 21st through the 20th of August. So check out A Black and White Cookie if you're on the other side of the country. Dakin Matthews is playing Merlin in the Broadway Camelot. That's a Lincoln Center production at the Vivian Beaumont Theater, and you have only one more week to catch it. Camelot on Broadway. Robert Cuccioli is playing Prospero in Shakespeare's The Tempest. That is at the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival in Center Valley, PA. Very talented man. Go see him in this lead role in a classic Shakespeare play. Tova Feldshuh is in Funny Girl at the August Wilson Theater on Broadway. Lilias White is in Hadestown on Broadway at the Walter Kerr. And you can hear Alan Menken's music in both Aladdin on Broadway and Little Shop of Horrors off. K.T. Sullivan holds down the fort Tuesday evenings at the Algonquin Theater, while Seth Bissenhirsch does his Seth's Talent Show at Don't Tell Mama every Tuesday night. Remember also that on Saturdays you can hear Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano. They are holding court at Birdland. And let's not forget, except I've forgotten, Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. So Shout out also to my friend Evan Seplow, founder of StageBuddy.com website, and a shout out to Dr. Demento, who does old and new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. And hey, also one of the things we're shouting out, congratulations and hey to our great friend David Sheward, who usually plays the Today Yesterday quiz. He's got the vacation of a lifetime. He's out there in Turkey, and I think he's going to Italy, and he's just posting all these wonderful things on his Facebook page. And he seems to be having the most absolutely wonderful time of his life. He and his husband, and I hope they are. And I hope to get them back in the neighborhood by early fall. Want to also give a shout out to Leslie Hoban Blake, who's seeing her family this week. You can watch her on Two on the Aisle with our other friend Charlie Gross. That's Two on the Aisle, their YouTube channel of theater reviews and interviews. And by the way, you can of course read David Sheward. He put up a blog about his trip at his blog, The David Desk for David Sheward. Okay, well, it's about 10 minutes before noon. We've had some fun, haven't we, kids? We've had Rabbi Sol with Kathryn Leigh Scott, and then Pat playing the Today Yesterday trivia quiz with Vicki and Moshe. We've had our Greeley Crimes of All Times. We've talked about museuming in Baltimore and our gonorrhea alert. Let's make it even worse by doing our Colorado Limerick of the damned. Because Joyce and I lived in Colorado, in northern Colorado, for more than a decade, and I got it into my head, hey, wouldn't it be fun to write a poem about as many different places in Colorado as I possibly could? They're all short. They're pretty much all in limerick form. And because they're limericks, they're all tasteless, disgusting, evil, the way I like them. So, with that in mind, with that said, this week's Colorado Limerick of the Damned, we go to Towner, Colorado. I know you haven't heard of it. It's real. Towner, Colorado. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain,
Colorado, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Towner, Colorado is where we go this week. I'm going to tell you that Towner is the easternmost town in the whole state of Colorado. It's in Kiowa County, and it has a whopping population of 18. So yeah, it's a small little place, but rather nice as so much of Colorado is. In fact, back in the day, people living in Kansas would cross the border, because the border from Kansas is only 2 miles away. They would go to Towner, Colorado, because Kansas was dry at that point and Colorado wasn't. So they could grab their booze and bring it over. Or I guess they couldn't bring it over. They could have some booze in Colorado and then drive back carefully to Kansas. Originally called Memphis, Towner was then named after a railroad worker. How many Memphises do you need? Wikipedia tells us that Towner has not 1, but 2 big grain elevators. I mean, okay, Turkey, fine, Paris, but it's Towner that has the grain elevators. In 1931, this isn't happy. 1931, 5 children and their bus driver died when the bus got stranded by a blizzard. So, there was, when we think of why in this day and age do schools still have snow days and days off for kids? I think that obviously really started many years back when a snow day was a serious ass thing. Anyway, in Towner right now, there's lots of fishing and hunting and biking and hiking, and the town votes 88% Republican, which is like, okay, well, but there's only 18 people in it, so it's not swinging any major elections, let's just say that. Anywho, Towner, Colorado. I have a poem for them. A Colorado Limerick of the damned. This girl that I dated from Towner was pretty, but really a downer. One day at the beach, oh, how she did screech. It took half the morning to drown her.
Oh, good Lord.
And that is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for this Saturday, July 15th, 2023. Please send your comments and especially your complaints and your hate mail to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com, or feel free to message me or post right on this Facebook page. I also want to remind you about another website. Don't forget davelefkowitz.org. davelefkowitz.org. That is also me, but that is my writing. So if you want to read the interviews that I've done with so many famous people, if you want to read my song lyrics, you want to read my one-act plays and my full-length plays, and news things about the theater that I've written for a bunch of different websites. There's hundreds and hundreds of items, and we're trying to add more as we can. davelefkowitz.org. Do check it out. You might enjoy some of the stuff, or if you're looking for a review, let's say, of a play that ran off Broadway in the early 1990s. Really not going to find that much stuff on the web. You'll find probably the New York Times review, because that's the word of God, and they spend all this money to be found first. But then it's like, was anybody else writing about these shows? And they were, for newspapers that you have to get on a microfilm or microfiche, or for websites that no longer exist anymore, that just vanished into the ether. Whereas, I'm putting up these reviews that I wrote back in the day. They're there. So it gives you another perspective on some of these shows. It's davelefkowitz.org. And of course, davesgoneby.com for the archives of this program, going all the way back to the very first. Our first 15 years were audio only. We're a radio show. Now, of course, we do the video every Saturday from 9 until noonish or thereabouts. Well, there's more stuff. I would probably rather want to wait for Joyce to come back next week and talk about that. So we will. Yeah. Well, I'll do this a little bit, and then I'll let you guys go so you can get your chickens in the oven. This past week or so, the New York Times, we're just talking about them, paper of record, fired. No, I shouldn't say that. They disbanded their sports department. Apparently what happened was a couple of years ago, they bought an online sports reporting outlet called The Athletic. It's a website. They bought it for like more than $550 million. And just to have it there, whatever. Maybe people then saw the future coming. And the Times still maintained its sports reportage, its reporters. And covered games. It's a New York newspaper. They covered the Yankees, the Mets, the Islanders. And then they decided, I guess just for the sake of economy and the sake of everything else, they're like, well, we don't need a sports department anymore. We've got this website that accurately and fairly reports on sports and bigger trends in sports. So we can take all the writers that we had and the art people and whatever who were doing our sports section that nobody reads because nobody gets the hard copy paper anymore, and people get the scores and things earlier in different ways. They did not fire anybody, they didn't lay off anybody, they just took the sports reporters and put them to different parts of the paper, finding other things for them to write about and do. And then occasionally the bigger sports story, the bigger picture thing. And I get it. And if there's still going to be a sports thing in the Times, it's just like, it's amazing how many papers now don't even bother to cover last night's game in any meaningful way, because people are watching the game or they're getting the scores immediately or first thing they wake up, and it's just not the same. There's a point in it, and they get the stats immediately and stuff. I don't know. I think, again, something has been lost. Like when 15 years ago, I think all the theater critics, and I'm take this very personally. Theater critics in so many papers were given the golden parachute, or they were told, well, you're no longer full-time, we no longer can afford to pay you benefits, but we'll hire you as a part-timer, as an adjunct, if you will. You'll cover less, you'll write less, but you'll still keep your stuff in there, and you'll still review shows. You just won't be, you won't have a desk anymore. Just send it to us as you can. And this is what arts journalism became. You won't review things, you'll do preview pieces and interviews more than actual reviews and things. Because it's more about clicks and getting people to read and building up the arts community rather than having a critical eye on things. And arts has gone on, theater's gone on since then. Maybe not the same, maybe not as good. I don't, I'm not sure. But I don't know what this means in terms of, newspaper sports, newspaper coverage, and what a newspaper does. When growing up, if you were a sports fan, you got the paper in the morning with your orange juice, with your egg, and you flipped to the back page. I wasn't such a rabid sports fan, but I'm sure guys, people who wanted to know about the Yankees, what they were up to, and what was the Jet game like, boom, to the back page. Boom, boom, and then, what happened in the game? What's the lines, what's the box score, what's the thing? And then who got what and how many hits, and see little charts and things, and then read somebody else covering a sort of a bigger story about the game or one of the players or what's going on with the team. Because there'd be 2 pages about the same team, and then another page or 2 about the other team. And then, here's what's happening with the Islanders that are starting training camp. And then, your Post, I think, used to have like 2 pages on horse racing. Remember that? I don't know. I never read the 2 pages on horse racing. I mean, I glanced at it. That was the beautiful thing about papers in the old days, too. It would slam on your couch or the kitchen table, and if you just turn the pages, you got a bigger sense of the world, rather than, shrinking, just read what's interesting directly to you, or looking for, or searching out, I want to read about this is my thing, not even thinking about stuff that doesn't cross my eyes, the way it used to when you would turn a page, and you'd see an advertisement, or an editorial, or a Dear Abby, or a comedy column, or the Sudoku puzzle, and then some sports, and then this and that. I'm old, I'm 59, I kind of miss it. But times go on, times change, and I wonder if this conglomeration, this agglomeration, won't be the next step for all the entertainment columns, won't be the next step probably for gossip, won't perhaps be the next step for international news coverage. Why have an international staff of a newspaper if they can find, a bigger blanket thing like AP or Reuters or something, and just buy into it and let them do, and just have your staff, skeletal staff in a building, because everybody can work from home, and then write the occasional story about whatever. Anywho, that's my thought. If you have a thought, email me, davesgoneby@aol.com, davesgoneby@aol.com. Well, it's 3 minutes after 12 Eastern Time in the Daverhood. You've been watching the 903rd episode of Dave's Gone By, and we do expect to be back next Saturday morning. I imagine it's the 22nd? Would that be right? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21? Yes, July 22nd, 2023, with the 904th episode of the show. So I think I called it the 902nd. It's actually, this was the 903rd. So thank you again to all our wonderful guests. Thank you so much for watching. Stay cool, for goodness sakes. And if you're going to fart at an important political dinner occasion, remember to tell people that, hey, they'll probably hear it anyway, but own it, as my wife said. I'm farting! And gone by.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.